go? There's the exit up here. consumes our battery. No batteries in this thing.
How do you think this is supposed to end? Because we were late. I don't think that's
Yeah, I
right.
know. I'm trying to, and there's nothing on it. Yep.
Okay, I can make it.
Just use this one. Yeah, you've got several. Yeah, it's fine. I even turned it on and off and everything. But it was hard to work behind. That's okay.
He's been my best one so far.
Yeah. So they don't come with batteries, or you don't have to use batteries? Because there is a battery area as well. But it was on.
I've got batteries here.
But it was on earlier though. It
Yeah.
was working. No big deal. We can just unplug it. I won't worry about it.
Oh, hang a second.
Oh, did it?
It's starting to flash for a second. Yeah.
It's a connection.
Yeah. Okay.
also there.
All right, good evening, everybody. First off, I want to thank everybody for taking the time to come out to this event. It means a lot to myself, the organization, and the speakers to see so many butts in these seats. So thank you all for making the time to come out. Few housekeeping items before we get started. Please make sure your cell phones are turned off to do not disturb. You don't want to be that one with your phone ringing. Washrooms are just outside up into the lobby. You had walked by them, you should know where those are. In the event of an emergency doors are on both sides, so pretty self-explanatory there. Well, we do have an action-packed night tonight. We're going to hear from 3 incredible speakers, and then we're going to have a Q&A session at the end. There were some pre-submitted questions that we're going to run through, and then we're also going to open it up to live Q&A. So please take notes. Get ready to ask these questions. There's going to be a little giveaway, so be prepared. Tonight isn't just about football. Resilience isn't a football skill, it's a life skill. Pressure shows up in different places. For some, it's under the lights on the field. For others, it's in the classroom, at work, at home, in friendships, and expectations. But pressure feels the same. It tests how we respond. Every person in this room has had moments where you've doubted yourself, you've felt overlooked, you felt the pressure. You weren't sure what to do next. And most of those memories don't stop when you get older. They just change form. Tonight isn't about discipline. It's not about fixing anyone. It's about building tools before you desperately need them. Resilience means staying steady when emotions run high, communication instead of shutting down, taking feedback rather than taking it personally, choosing growth instead of blame. And those skills matter in sports, but they also matter even more in life. You're going to hear 3 perspectives tonight, different angles, different experiences, one common theme. Resilience isn't built in comfort. is built-in response. And the way you respond consistently will shape who you become. That's what tonight is about. First off, we have Mary Landerson. To kick this event off, we want to start with someone who understands greatness on the field begins long before the whistle blows. She's a powerhouse in the community. She was dedicated her career to understanding what makes people, and especially young people, tick. She knows that building resilience in an athlete must first be building resilience as a human being. Tonight she's here to talk to you about the foundation of mental toughness and how you can support the youth in your life navigating those challenges in today. Please join me in welcoming a true advocate in our community and our kids, Meryl Anderson.
Hello, can everybody hear me? Okay, yes, awesome. So, Mary Anderson is my name, and when I do talks, I like to get a lot of engagement. It keeps it fun for me, it keeps it fun for you. So, do I hear buzzing? Yes, okay. First of all, to practice the engagement, does everybody in here have a name? Raise your hand if you have a name. Let's practice raising our hands. Okay, that's amazing. And now, on the count of 2, I would like you to say your name. 1, 2. Okay. Okay, amazing. Now, if you are an athlete, on the count of 2, I would love to hear what sport you play, because I know there's not just football players in here tonight. So 1, 2. A lot of football players in here tonight, okay. Hockey, football, multiple sports, amazing. Okay, so football. I would like to start by saying I always wanted to be a quarterback. I'm not gonna lie, I love throwing the football. Not as much as Nathan, but my mom did not want me to get pummeled as a twig that I was when I was young on the football field with all of the guys. So I learned how to use my arm swing for volleyball. Being 6'2", it worked out very well for me. I was blessed enough to play on teams where I won multiple provincial championships, nationals. I was able to play Team BC for indoor volleyball, Team BC for beach volleyball. I got recruited internationally, then invited to try out for the Olympics even. Now, this is kind of where resilience comes in, because I didn't quite have the opportunity to pursue those opportunities that came to me. Life had other plans. I ended up getting pretty violently derailed from those, and I found out that who I was didn't really have anything to do with the sport I played, even though for a long time I thought it did. I found out that instead of that, it was about who I was becoming while I was learning to play and growing as an athlete. Now, how many of you here have heard, let's say in the past year, anybody doing an interview, pro sports, Olympic athletes maybe lately, who have said anything about mental performance mindset coaching? Anybody talking about visualization that you've heard, journaling, breath work, anything like that? Yeah, I'm seeing hands go up. Okay, those are all parts of mental performance, mindset training, mental training. Now, back in the 90s, early 2000s, dating myself now, that wasn't really a thing that was talked about very much. There wasn't tons of research. If you were getting a sports psychologist, you were at the highest levels. But me, I had this coach who at 12 years old till 15 years old, he actually knew about it. And he trained our minds as volleyball players just as much as our bodies. Literally, before we would even set up the nets for volleyball practice, he would have have all of us laying on the ground with our eyes closed, and I can hear Bob's voice in my head talking us through guided visualizations about plays that we were going to do well to the best of our abilities. Or sometimes he would talk about challenges that were going to happen in the game that we were going to play and how we were going to respond to those challenges, all just practicing it in our heads. We would sometimes go into a classroom, and we wouldn't even set up the nets. We would go into a classroom and be working on a whiteboard and learning about how our minds and our bodies are all connected. Now, that led us to be a team that was really unique because we were practicing all these skills with our heads and then our bodies. So I know that there's a lot of questions around what exactly mental performance is. We kind of get tastes of it, right, in interviews, maybe a little bit of somebody brings somebody in to talk to your team. But today, I really wanted my time with you to share a little bit more about what performance mindset is, what mental training is, and to have you leave maybe with a tool or two that is going to help you grow and create greatness in your life and in your sport. So, it's my first time using the clicker. Hold on, pushing power. Aha, there we go. Okay, so physical fitness, everybody. Somebody, what is physical fitness? What are we doing when we're training? Yes?
Going to the gym.
That's right, going to the gym, getting buff. What about in practice? What are we doing in practice? That is, let's get somebody else here. Yes? That's right, working on your strength, right? Training your strength, your speed, your endurance. And do we just do those things once in practice and then forget about it? No, we got to do tons of reps so that we get really, really good at what we're doing, at those physical skills. Now, if I go play volleyball and I haven't played for like 7 years, it happened, I walk in and I don't have to think very much about the volleyball skills because I did so many reps back when I was younger. Mental fitness, performance mindset, mental training is the same thing. We've got to train our brains because they're all skills that we can learn, and we got to do lots of reps so that when we're in those high pressure moments, anybody here been in a high pressure moment in a game, practice, job interview, career, relationship? Yes, okay? So when we do our reps, our mental fitness reps, that means that when those moments come, it's going to be a lot easier for us to gain control of what's going on. So, anybody here heard the term, that's just the tip of the iceberg? Yeah, that's a pretty good one, right? That means that there's only so many things that we can see that are going on, but underneath that water level, there's actually tons that makes it happen, right? So, things that I call noise or outcomes are statistics, rankings. They're medals and rings and making the team and getting recruited and getting signed and your grades, because that matters when you're a student athlete, like it or not. These are all outcomes. Mental training works on what's going on underneath. Okay, so we've got habits, visualization, being anti-fragile, goals, self-talk, calming down our nervous systems when we get anxious. Those are all skills. They're not necessarily things that we're born with. Some people are a lot calmer than others, yes, but they're skills that we can learn. There's 4 pillars. Everybody still with me? 4 pillars, okay? The mind, self-talk, structure, the body. The mind, it's being aware of what's going on. Now, body, this one's interesting because I'm talking about mental fitness, right? What does the body have to do with that? They're so intertwined. For example, everybody ready to do a little exercise with me? Okay. I want you, parents and athletes, to get as small as you can in your chairs. Crouch down, get as small as you can, heads down, everybody do it, everybody gotta do it. Okay, crunch down. Amazing. Okay, once you're down there, I want you to close your eyes and in your head only. Okay, quiet, quiet, silent coyote. In your head only, I want you to say, I am amazing. No, in your head only, but good try, yeah, okay. Okay, now I want you to stand up. Everybody stand up, get big. Get that? I want you to say, I am amazing. Okay, we know who listens. Okay, everybody sit down. There we go. That's always a fun one. Okay, everybody listen up. Now, who was able to believe that I am amazing when they were like this? Show of hands. Anybody? A couple. That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, but now, for everybody who was standing up tall, shoulders back, head up, and you said, I am amazing, who believed that? Way more people. Okay, so wait, you're telling me that just because you changed your body position, that actually helps your mind believe something different? Yeah, your body position does. So sometimes when we're not confident or we're feeling a little anxious, what happens? We get a little small. Our shoulders kind of curl, right? And sometimes it's hard to believe, I'm amazing. But if we can put our shoulders back and get big and walk, just kind of convincing ourselves with our body posture, it's going to be easier for us to believe that. So it's one way that our bodies are tied in. Detective, not a judge. It's really easy to judge ourselves, isn't it? When we feel nervous or we made a mistake, we're like, oh, I suck. Why am I here? Right? It's easy to, man, what am I doing? What mental training and mental fitness is to stop that and to go, instead of being a judge about ourselves and what we're doing, to get curious about it. Become a detective. You know, I have a podcast, and I have amazing athletes from all over the world on my podcast. Actually, Angus was on my podcast. Nathan said he's coming on my podcast. Okay, NFL, NHL, world record holder swimmers, like all this stuff. And there are common threads through all of these interviews. And curiosity, being curious, is a common thread that everybody talks about. It's getting curious about why you feel the way that you feel. And I had this Serbian pro boxer, okay? She has the title championship in multiple weight categories. Amazing woman. And she said to me, Mariel, butterflies are okay, right? Because feeling nervous and feeling excited is actually the same thing in our bodies. We get kind of sweaty palms and our, whoop, I forgot I had a mic on. Our hearts beat a little bit fast. But that happens when we're excited too, right? So it's about getting our butterflies from flying everywhere into formation so that they're still there, but they're actually working for us. Did I mess up the mic by punching it earlier? Am I good? Am I good? Okay. Thank you. I'm used to a mic being in front of me, not on me. Okay, there we go. So being a detective about what's going on. This is a fun one. Ready for another exercise, everybody? You're getting the crash course in mental training tonight, okay? Everybody, I want you to close your eyes again for me, and I want you to, whatever you do, close your eyes. Do not think about a pink elephant. Don't think about a pink elephant. Don't think about a pink elephant riding a tricycle, playing a trumpet. Don't do it. Okay, I heard a couple giggles. You can open up your eyes. How many people thought about a pink elephant? Yeah, but I said not to.
You were talking about it.
Right, and I said don't. So how many people here have said, don't forget your lunch, and forgotten your lunch? Yeah, don't drop the pass, dropped the pass. Don't miss your serve, miss the serve. For me, sorry honey, it was don't forget to turn the tap off, and I flooded the house. And I came in and I was like, I even teach this stuff, okay? So a cool thing to know about our brains is that our brains only attach to action. And the word don't isn't an action word, it's a stop to action. So when we're saying don't forget your lunch, we're actually telling our brain, forget your lunch. Leave the tap on. Fumble the pass. But is it important to remember your lunch?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it important to remember to turn the tap off? Yes. Yes, it is. Okay. So we need to learn how to say that to our brains in a way that our brain can actually understand and do what we want. We need to give our brains a target. So remember to grab your lunch. Hold the ball tight when you get it. Take a breath before you serve. Those are all saying the same thing, just in a way that your brain's actually going to give you what you want. Is this stuff like yet? I loved learning about this stuff. Now, how many people in here failed at something? I'm not going to lie, I might be the queen of failing things. You know what? That's okay, I own it. Because failing things means that I take risks. It means that I grow. It means that I got really good at my sport. Because guys, how many times do you fail to get to where you're at? All the time. All the time. But it's hard not to get down on ourselves when we fail. When we drop the pass and miss the serve or, whatever that is, right? But failure is data. Failure is feedback. When we put on that hat of curiosity and we get out the magnifying glass and we become the detective, failure is actually, oh, now I know how not to do it next time, right? And that is having an athlete mindset. There's a difference between being a spectator and being an athlete. Yeah, there we go. Okay, that was a mini course, you guys. There's so much to it. There's so much to it. But I wanted you to have a few ideas on what mental training is, what performance mindset is. Now, it is important for kids to learn this stuff. It's important for parents to be able to learn this stuff and be able to connect with other parents. If you scan this, it's a free school community where my partner, who is a former NHL player, and we have like open office hours in there. And we do mental training. Parents are welcome to come. Athletes are welcome to come. This is important information, and it's important for greatness in your sport. But more importantly, you guys, it is important for greatness in life. So scan this, everybody who wants to come in and join that free community. And while you're doing that, I've got one more exercise. One more. And I need 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 4 volunteers who are brave enough to come on stage. Okay, one of you from that crew up there, pick. There we go. Green shirt, there we go. Gray, there we go. You, there. Okay, come on up. Nice and clear. Yeah. Come on up. Hey, round of applause for these guys. High five. High five. High five. High five. Thank you. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is teach you all how to practice the way that like pro athletes and like Olympic athletes, crazy performers, the best cello players and like all that kind of stuff. This is how they practice in order to get as good as they get and as fast as they do it. Okay, it's called deliberate practice. So I practice this visually in my head. Let's see if it plays out the way I wanted it to. Thank you, Chilliwack Giants, for donating 4 footballs. Okay, so what I need from you guys, okay? What is one thing that when you go to practice that you, wait, are you guys all football players? Yes. Okay, that works well, okay. What is one thing when you go to practice that you want to work on?
When I have to go for a lap, I fully run.
Fully run when you go for a lap. That's a good one. Okay, I'm going to write on here. Fully run. That's good. Okay, now you hold this. And stand shortest over here. Sorry, sir. You won't be short one day. There we go. Okay, there we go. Now, you. what are you going to work on in practice? One thing, and when we do practices deliberately, ready? We want to get really specific. So this was a really good one, to reel or run fully. Okay, what about you? Is there something that you like to work on? But, yep, you.
I like to focus on getting low and like properly tackling.
Nice. Okay, getting low. Getting low. There we go. Okay, you hold this and kind of stand here. There we go. Okay, green. What is something that you work on when you go to practice?
Fitness.
Okay, fitness, that's good. Let's get specific. What about fitness?
Endurance.
Endurance. What is going to build up your endurance?
Running.
Running. What kind of running? Like sprinting, running 5 miles?
Running. Sprinting.
Sprinting. There we go. Sprinting. I hate running. That's why I like volleyball. There we go. Okay. And you, sir? What are you going to work on? Make it as specific as you can. Like if you are throwing the ball, where's your elbow at? That kind of thing.
I'd say like training to failure every day.
Sorry?
Training to failure every day.
Trying to failure every day.
Training to failure.
Training. Thank you. Thank you. There we go. There we go. Okay. So, deliberate practice. What was found when this guy named Dr. Erickson studied the masters of their craft from all over? And we're also going to practice to not drop the ball. No, I'm kidding. What Dr. Erickson found was that these guys who were like the top of their craft, what they did is they were deliberate, they were intentional. So here's the thing, when we go into practice and we're thinking about working on, when I point at you, say what your ball says or what you remember if you can't read my writing, okay? So what are you working on?
Falling.
Okay?
Getting low and tackling properly.
Yeah?
Sprinting.
Sprinting?
Trying to fail.
Trying to, okay. If we're going to practice and we're thinking about getting good at all of these things at once, it's a little overwhelming. Has anybody heard the quote, when you focus on everything, you focus on nothing? It's a true thing. Okay, so when we go to practice and we're focusing on all 4 of these things, everybody, I'm going to get you to do something in a second. Ready? Do we feel like we got extremely good at any one of those things when we leave practice? No. But we might get a little bit better, right? One of those things. So everybody take a little baby step forward. Little baby step. Little baby step. There we go. Good. You get the point. Okay, so here's the thing about deliberate practice. Intentional, being deliberate. So what we want to do is we want to focus on one thing. So before practice, all of these masters of their craft, okay, all these pros, Olympic athletes, all these guys, okay, they journal, write it down, not in their head, they actually write it down. What is one thing that I'm going to improve on today? Because then they're focusing on one thing, not everything, right? So when we're going to focus on one thing, green. I'm sure you have a wonderful name. Take 5 steps forward. Good. What just happened at the end of practice? We feel like we got better, and we did get better at one thing. Okay? So stay there, good, because we're proving the point. Good. Okay, but it didn't just end with journaling about one thing before practice. After practice is over, they go home and they pull out the journal and they write, what are 3 things that went well? What is one thing that didn't go so well? And what's one thing I can improve for next time? Now, why 3 things well and 1 thing that didn't go so well? Anybody up here have the answer? Let's put you on the spot. Oh, yes.
So you can learn from your mistakes?
Yeah, One thing, because we want to learn from our mistakes. Yes?
That you always need to, kind of like lose to make yourself better.
That's good too. Yeah, it's kind of like the failing forward. Yeah, totally. So one thing that we didn't do so well. 3 things that we did do well, because it's important to focus on what we're doing right. And I don't know about you guys, high achievers, we're kind of hard on ourselves, right? And so it's easy for us to find all the things that we're doing wrong, but we need to also have things that we're doing right, okay? Good job, you guys. You can go, here's a sticker too, because stickers are awesome. These are dishwasher friendly from Sonic Bark. Woo-hoo! Thank you, Sonic Bark. Here we go. Yes, you can keep the balls. Keep the ball. There we go. Amazing. Okay, so I really hope that you guys get a little bit of tools to take home with you. Okay, parents, you can use those in your daily life. Athletes, you can use those as you move forward in your sport and your career. Okay, if any of you want to tune in to the podcast, it is absolutely amazing. You can scan it there. Now, these guests that come on this podcast, and Angus and Nathan and Bill, we're all so excited for you athletes here. Okay, the stuff that I'm teaching here, pro levels are learning it, for CEOs of Nike and Adidas and all this stuff, they're learning mental performance because it's that life-changing. But we think it's important to teach you guys this, because you are the next CFL players. You're the next NFL players, NHL players, Olympic athletes. You're the next CEOs and leaders. How cool is that? And the more that we're able to give you guys tools like this that we had to learn, most of us had to learn when we were older, the more resilient and equipped you're going to be for everything that life is going to hand you. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you. I forgot to do the ball. One more, is my mic still on? One more thing. This football, okay, because we like bribes. This football is going to be for the first athlete who asks us a question. All 3 of us are going to have Q&A after. First athlete that asks us a question, and Angus is going to sign it, and Nathan's going to sign it, and the first person to ask a question gets this ball, okay?
That's great. Thank you so much. Well, our next speaker is a man who has redefined the possibility of Canadian athletes on a global stage. From record-breaking days at Ohio State to his heroic must-watch season with the BC Lions, where he set the record, the highest completion percentage in CFL history. He has become a symbol of what happens when the elite talent meets obsessed work ethic. But beyond the touchdowns and the NFL opportunities, he is known for the incredible composure under pressure and his first in, last out mentality, whether it comes under center in front of 30,000 fans or on the training field. His journey is a masterclass in staying resilient throughout the hype and the hurdles. Please give a loud, please get loud for one of the most exciting players in the game today, Nathan Rourke.
How are we doing? Good to see you. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. These lights are blinding, but thank you, Bill, for having me. And it's an honor to be here with you all. I was just here a couple weeks ago at Chilliwack Secondary talking with the BC Lions, doing one of those things, and it's always great to be out in the community and talking with people. A little bit of a disclaimer, though. I am not a professional speaker for a living. I do not do mental coaching, and I don't have any Grey Cup rings, hopefully soon. And I had to bring notes. I didn't realize that we could do a slideshow, so I'm going to do my best. But what I would like to talk about today is a little bit about my journey and how I got to this place. For some of you parents or people or athletes yourselves who are going through this type of journey, I just take it from my example. It was anything but a straight line to get here. But first, before we get to that, I just want to describe a little bit about this hill that I used to run when I was growing up. I grew up in the Greater Toronto area in a place called Oakville, and I know I'm supposed to say that I'm from BC, and I do claim BC as my home, but I did grow up in Oakville. And there was this ravine down in a place called Lions Valley, ironically, and it was this deep hill, really steep, about 25% incline. It was about 250 meters, felt like a mile. It took me about 45 seconds, maybe a minute if I was gassed to run it. And it began to be a place where I would go for training and go to try to get better. At that time in my life when I was growing up, I did not have a weightlifting program. I know that a lot of schools nowadays are doing regularly lifting. I did not start lifting regularly until grade 12. And so this hill really served not only as a training ground, but as something that I would use to develop my mental toughness. Because when I ran that hill, and it was a grueling hill, I would imagine whatever goal I was pursuing was at the top. At the top of this hill, there was this yellow gate, and as I got up to the top, sometimes stumbling, I would touch that gate, and that meant that I was done that rep. And sometimes I would imagine that gate was a Division I scholarship. So when it got tough for me, when my legs started giving out, I would imagine at the top was a coach handing me a Division I scholarship. That's what motivated me. And that gate, it stood for different things over the years. It changed over the time. But it was a really good analogy for me in goal setting, and so I'll talk a little bit about that. But I wanted to start when I was really young, the age of some of the people here. I really got into football, fell in love with football by watching Brett Favre and the Green Bay Packers. My dad had a 1996 highlight video of their Super Bowl run where they won in New Orleans against the Patriots. And my mom, she was pretty strict with screen time, and so she only allowed me to watch an hour of screen a day. And I chose to watch that video every single day instead of some cartoons. Maybe some kids my age were watching. I was watching that video. And the thing that stood out to me about Brett Favre was the way he played the game. He played it like he was in the backyard. He played it with a smile on his face. He had a lot of passion. And he played for his teammates. That was something that I tried to emulate. Sometimes a little bit too literally. Sometimes he would tackle his teammates in celebration when they got to the end zone. I tried that once. My coach did not like it. That was probably a good thing. Probably not a good thing not to do. And so it was that sense of joy that really brought me to football. And I tried to emulate him. I wore number 4 up until high school. But it was also the challenge that football brought, right? It was something to get better at. It was something to pursue. And so I looked for that challenge wherever I could. When I started playing organized football, I begged my parents to get in football as soon as I could, and when they allowed, and they finally caved, I was playing organized football. I tried to play in the best of leagues, something closer, similar to the Giants. I was playing local football. And when I got to high school, I realized that this was something that I could really make into a career. That dream that I had early on as a young football fan, a Brett Favre fan, that began to shape as something that could be something that I could do. And so I believe I was in grade 7 or 8 when I sat down with my parents and I said, hey, I want to become an NFL football player. And this is how I think we could do it. I want to go to Division I school, and I want to get a Division I scholarship. My parents are pretty logical people, and they didn't want to pay for college. So they were like, if you're going to get scholarship, that's okay with us. And so I did everything I could at that point. And it was around that time where I started running that hill. And that Division I scholarship was that gate. Unfortunately for me, there was a lot of barriers that prevented me from that being reality right away. First of which, I did everything that I could to be where my feet was. I was in Canada. I was in the Greater Toronto area. I was at a really good high school, it was called Holy Trinity Catholic. We were in a very good division. And I did everything I could. I played as a grade 10. I started on the varsity team against people who were 2 or even 3 years older than me. In Ontario, you can do this thing called a grade 13. So I played against those kind of kids, challenged myself. Just a little bit of a side note, I was not very good that year. I really struggled. I had not hit my growth spurt. And there's a lot about the game that I did not understand. But that year, the challenges of that year helped me figure out what I needed to improve on for the next year. And one of those things was I needed to run that hill a lot more. And in grade 11, we had one of our best years in our school's history. We won our area. We were the number 2 ranked team in Canada at the end of the year, undefeated. But still, that wasn't enough. It wasn't enough for the coaches in the States to give any type of care about me. So I said, okay, if you're not going to care about me if I just play Canada, I'm going to go and I'm going to do the camps. I'm going to come to your school. I'm going to go to your campuses. And I want to try to show out there. Unfortunately, I've never been very good at the combine and those type of drills. And I sure wasn't very good at those camps either. I thought that I was good, but when I went down to the States, they were just so much better. And so I said, okay, if you're not going to take me, then I'm going to go and play American football. Maybe that's the issue. So I got lucky enough in grade 12, for my grade 12 year, to go down to Alabama. Of all places, to go down to Alabama as a Canadian kid. Kind of a weird situation where I knew somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody. And they were able to get me into a situation where the school needed a quarterback just for 1 year. And I took a chance on that because I'm thinking, hey, this is small town USA. This is Friday Night Lights. Tuscaloosa, where the home of the Crimson Tide, is just an hour away with Nick Saban, the greatest college football program ever. How could I go wrong going to this place, right? Well, that certainly was a culture shock. Going down there, obviously, first off, they were doing things a lot differently than we were doing it up in Canada. At that time, like I said, my team didn't have a weightlifting program. I know that some of the programs now around BCs have it now, which is great. They were lifting every single day. They had 7 periods during the day. 7th period was the football team got in the weight room, and we lifted and we ran, and then we would practice afterwards that. That was a whole new thing for me. Obviously, people came to the games. It was Friday Night Lights, small town in Alabama, just outside of Montgomery, if you know the area. And the whole town would come out and watch you play. And if you lost, everyone was mad at you. They might charge you a little bit more for gas. But if you won, the whole town shut down for the Saturday. So it was really revolved around football. But also culturally, I went down to a place that was very uncomfortable for me because I realized that not everyone felt the same way about the world or saw the world the same way that I did. Just for context, this was 2015. A little person named Donald Trump was running for president just around that time. And so I got to be around people just as he was rising. That was very strange for me. But thirdly, I really realized how proud I was to be from Canada and to represent Canada. A lot of these people didn't have a passport, would never travel outside of the country, sometimes not even the state. So I made it really a part of something. I made it a big part of what I did to try to represent Canada in the best way that I could, knowing that sometimes that might be their only interaction with a Canadian their entire lives. But thirdly, and lastly, the coach there was very, very difficult on me. See, this wasn't just any school. They, at the time, had the longest active winning streak at any high school program. It ended with 72 straight wins and a bunch of state titles along the way. They had this amazing program, and the coach had very, very high standards. And so when I came in, this kid from Canada who just led the number 2 team in Canada, coming in, never really had some type of, kind of gotten by on talent alone. This coach from Alabama had seen it all, had won against all circumstances. He wasn't hard for him to go and coach me hard. And he didn't cuss because he was from the South. But he didn't hold back his words either. So I developed some very thick skin early because he knew exactly how to pierce through the armor that I had. So getting through all those different types of things, I was somehow, with the support and love of my family, who ended up moving down with me halfway through the season, I was able to have a good season. I was able to extend the winning streak as long as we were able to do it, win state title again. And I ended up tying the Alabama state record for total touchdowns with 65. However, that wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. I was in the recruiting process just too late. And unfortunately, although I heard from a lot of schools, they weren't talking about scholarships. They weren't talking about adding me to their team in other ways other than gray shirts, preferred walk-on. There was actually one story in particular where a school said on Friday, they said, we're going to offer you a scholarship on Monday. We just have to get some things sorted. And then by Monday, the whole staff was fired. So it was a crazy, crazy experience. And so National Signing Day came on February 1st, 2016. And my coaches kept saying, hey, 11th hour, there might be something that might happen. Something might fall through the cracks. And unfortunately, it didn't. I didn't get any calls. At that moment in my life, my identity was rooted in whether I succeeded or failed. And that felt like a failure to me. So that was very, very difficult. Luckily, that run up the metaphorical hill wasn't over. It wasn't over. I got an opportunity to play junior college football in a little place called Kansas, Fort Scott, Kansas. And I don't know if any of you have seen the Netflix documentary Last Chance U, but the third season they play in the Kansas junior college system. I played in that league. And everything, I couldn't watch the show because it was so close to home. It was exactly what I experienced. People showing up and leaving all the time, right? Early morning practices, terrible facilities, right? I remember showing up there in the summer for a 2-week rookie camp, 100 kids. They needed to get it down to about 25 kids because they already had the second and third year players from the previous year. And so what they do, they made their camp extremely, extremely hard, ran us, lifted crazy volume, practices twice a day, tried to make kids quit. And they were successful. Kids quit every single day, and they got that number down. My roommate quit the first day, which was great for me. I had the room to myself. But that taught me something. As uncomfortable and as crazy as that situation that was, it taught me something because I realized that I truly loved the game. I didn't need the nicest facilities. I didn't need people at my games. I didn't need anything other than football to get me through and wake me up in the morning. That's what junior college showed me. We didn't even have a full football field to practice on. You guys have a nicer facility. I saw in the community back there across behind the community center. That's a nicer practice facility that I had when I was in junior college. So when I was able to finally get an offer, finally get an opportunity after that junior college season from Ohio University, it didn't really matter what the field looked like. It didn't matter how many people were going to that school or how popular the football program was. I knew that I loved ball, and all I was looking for was an opportunity. And that's what they gave me. But at the same time, as I accomplished that goal that I had had for years and years, going back to grade 7 and grade 8, of being a Division I athlete, I realized something. As much as we put out these, it's great to have goals, as much as it's great to make goals and accomplish goals, right? As soon as you accomplish something, something else replaces it, right? So that pursuit of something never really ends. Because as soon as I got to Ohio University, that goal of being a Division I athlete didn't really matter anymore. I had accomplished that. It was now to be a starter. So I shifted my focus right away. I was able to have a really good career at Ohio, had some ups and downs, some injuries, learned a lot about how to be around a new team and how to win a quarterback battle, how to be a backup when I was there. We won 3 straight bowl games. I was on all-conference 3 years in a row. Again, it was one of those things where I felt, for sure, I'm going to get a chance to be an NFL star, an NFL player. 2020, I graduated. 2020 draft. I don't know if you know what happened in 2020, but there was this thing called COVID. Yeah, okay. Kind of messed things up for a lot of people, but myself included. Less people were drafted that year. Less people invited to the combine. I'm not saying that would have changed things, but it makes it easier for me to think about. But luckily, I was given an opportunity. Even though weeks before at the NFL draft, my phone, just like National Signing Day when I was in high school, my phone did not ring from any NFL teams. The BC Lions called, and they drafted me in the second round, which I've always been and I will forever be eternally grateful that they drafted me. They gave me an opportunity. Unfortunately, the CFL was canceled in 2020. So in 2021 was our first year that we started, that we played. And I told my agent at that time in 2020, I'm not doing anything. If the NFL calls, let me know. I'll give it another shot. Like I said, at that time, I had been running the hill for a long time with the gate being an NFL player, right? And so I did get a call. I got a call from the New York Giants. They said, do you want to come and do rookie minicamp? And I said, absolutely. I'd just been working with my still quarterback coach, Rob Williams, about my throwing mechanics, and my mechanics were better. I was throwing the ball better than I had ever at any point in my life, including in my college career. And I couldn't wait to show somebody about what I'd been working on. Except when I got there, I went and introduced myself to the quarterback coach. I said, hey, I'm Nathan Rourke. I think we're going to be seeing each other a little bit. He said, actually, we're going to be working you out as receiver. I'd never played receiver in my life. All I'd done is caught shotgun snaps. That was the only thing that I'd ever worked on. At that moment, I really had a choice. Do I continue to give this thing that I had been working for my entire life a shot? Or do I let my ego get in the way of something that could be a dream of mine, a dream come true? I realized something, and I think about this still to this day. There's a lot of things that are out of my control, a lot of things that are out of our control, right? Whether what the other team does, right? What our teammates do, the decisions that our coaches make, right? But things that we can control, we'll always be able to control our effort, our attitude, and our energy, right? When I was in that camp, I had every opportunity, even though I wasn't playing the position that I'd played my entire life. I haven't played anything else. You don't want to see me tackle or block, okay? I could control how much effort I gave on my routes, right? The attitude that I showed up every day into the locker room, into meetings, right? And the energy I gave to my teammates, right? I could be positive, or I could be, oh, man, I can't believe this is happening to me, right? There's a big difference. I think about that going into games today, right? Those are the things I can control, right? So I'm going to make sure that I knock that out of the park. How did that tryout go? Not very well. Obviously, I'm not a receiver, had not been training as a receiver. And as soon as that tryout was done, I called my agent and I said, make sure we sign a contract with the BC Lions to play quarterback. In 2021, I played my rookie year. I played a little bit, but really that year was about learning from a future Hall of Famer and Mike Riley. And I learned a lot from Mike about how to be a professional, what his process was like, how to lead a huddle, how to lead a locker room. He was the absolute best. But I was really frustrated that year because up until then, every point in my life, I had played. I was a backup a little bit at Ohio. But for this amount of time, how did I learn how to get better without getting any reps? Right? This was the year that I learned how to do that, taking mental reps. We talked about mental training, right? Never losing a rep. I'm not taking the rep, but I'm 20 yards behind. I'm going through the motions. I'm taking a drop. I'm training my eyes. I'm making sure that I show up on film so that when we watch film later, I can watch myself go through it, and let's see if I did the exact same thing as a starter or if I did something different. That gives me data to be able to make sure if I'm getting better or not. Right? I learned how to do that in 2021. Helped me when I went to the NFL later. Right? But I remember being frustrated because it's, again, if you're in pro football, it's not about the starter. They don't really care about you, right? That's on you to develop, right? So I wasn't getting the feedback that I thought. I wasn't improving the way that I thought. It was very frustrating. It was very frustrating. But luckily in 2022, I got a chance to be able to play. Mike had retired. It was going to be my job to lose. That season went pretty well. We started off pretty hot. Unfortunately, an injury derailed my season. And I had a chance to come back and play in the West Final against Winnipeg, and that one still eats at me. After that season ended, despite my injury, I had a chance to go down in the NFL. And that childhood dream, I remember playing and watching Brett Favre. That's what fueled that decision, was that pursuit of that dream. I had an opportunity to do that, and so I took the opportunity that I had. I signed with the Jaguars in 2023. And when I went down there, that whole experience exposed a lot of different things that I needed to work on. Mentally, all the things that you all just saw on the screen that Meryl was talking about, I needed to work on a lot of that stuff. I had a lot of doubt in myself. I had struggled a lot with, do I even belong here? These lights, this lifestyle that people are living, the money that's around, the business of this thing, do I even belong here? And so it took me a while to get accustomed to it all. Eventually, I did feel a little bit more secure. I felt like I was making some progress, but I was still number 3 on the depth chart. And I didn't make the active roster in 2023, but I did just well enough that they wanted to keep me around but not put me on active roster, and then I did well enough that other teams wanted to put me on active roster. So by the end of the year, I was with the New England Patriots. I was with a different team. And then regime change, Belichick got fired, I got let go, I got cut, ended up back with the Giants, coincidentally, new coaching staff. And then I got cut, and I got signed by the Atlanta Falcons. So now here I am going into training camp, learning my 5th offense in about 5 months. And I'm in a situation where I've been kicked around for a lot of different reasons. And I'm about a week in, and we're going into our preseason game with the Miami Dolphins. And the coaches all week have told me, hey, you're not going to play. You've just been here a week. You're not going to play. I haven't got a single rep since I've been there. Not a rep in practice, not a rep in walkthrough, but I've been working my tail off. I've been doing extra walkthroughs on my own, grabbing a coach whenever I can, grabbing some younger receivers whenever I can, right? Trying to get as many reps as I can. And when I mean no reps, I haven't thrown a ball in practice at all. And so when I we do the walkthrough before the game, we're in Miami, and the coach comes to me and he says, hey, you're not going to play. I'm a bit relieved. I know I'm not prepared. My whole entire life was prepare. That's part of my confidence. 50% of my preparation that goes into the week is just getting to the point where I feel like I can play and I'm prepared enough to play. The other 50% is actually the preparation of it. That's how important that kind of stuff is to me. So I'm going in, I know I'm underprepared. So I say, okay, I'm going to dress, but I'm not playing. Okay, that's okay. So I'm talking to Kirk Cousins on the sideline and all different type of stuff, having a good time. The fourth quarter comes around, head coach says, hey, you're going in. I know I'm underprepared. I haven't prepared. I did everything that I could, but that kind of stuff showed. It showed up on tape. That game feels like it's still, and probably always will be, one of the biggest embarrassments I've ever felt. I've never felt more like a failure than after leaving the field at that game. And I realized something throughout that process of getting and achieving a goal, touching that gate, running that hill and touching that gate, of making it to the NFL, realizing that I had been running this hill for so long, expecting everything to work out when I got to the top, expecting that to be enough. When in reality, what I realized, as great as it is to set goals, and how I think that everyone should, it's about the process. It's about the pursuit. And that's what I was missing. When I made the decision to come back to the CFL, and the BC Lions graciously opened their doors for me again, it wasn't just an opportunity for me to come back and play in a league that I had success in before. It was about me finding the love for the game again through the process of playing it. Every single day I get a chance to go and get better. I get to see a little progress here and there. You can't replace live reps. Angus will tell you that. You can't replace live reps. You can hit a bag 100 times. It's not going to simulate someone like Matthew Betts, right? Live reps for me is standing in the pocket knowing that I could get hit. It's different in practice. When I was in the NFL, I was taking scout card reps, right? It's not the same when you can't hit you. I was missing that. For me, it wasn't about touching the gate. It was about running the hill itself. There's that great song, right, by Miley Cyrus. It's about the climb. You know that song? Yeah. It's about the climb, right? We get so locked in about the outcome, the score. Coaches talk about it, right? As a professional, our livelihood depends on it, right? Win or a loss. Jobs are won or lost based off of wins and losses. We control what we can control. We focus on our process. The scoreboard's going to take care of itself. It doesn't matter if it's sports or something else, right? Your habits in the classroom, right? How you get an A or a B or whatever it might be, right? Whatever your goal is, right? In the classroom, those study habits, right? That's what's going to set you up for success down the line. That's what's going to help you down the line, rather than just succeeding or failing, right? That was one of the things that I learned through that process, right? It was about running the hill, not getting to the top, right? So some things that I'd love for you to take away from this, if you could, find yourself a hill. Maybe it's an actual hill, a literal hill. Hill runs are great. If you ever want to have an inner monologue with yourself about whether or not you can do another one or how many you've done and all that different type of stuff, you can find a hill. It's really hard. But I mean, do something that's challenging. Find something that's difficult, sports or otherwise. Make goals, but fall in love with the process of it. Because even if you don't succeed, right? I can look at myself, I can look at my career in the NFL and say, hey, I failed. I failed myself. I can look at it that way. Or I can say, hey, I learned how to master the process, right? I learned so much from that, right? That's the joy, that's the experience of the process, the pursuit of something. That's more valuable than the reward at the end. And then secondly, I'd say reflect. Right? Every single stop that I've had on my journey, whether it was Alabama or Kansas or Ohio, every little step on my NFL journey, getting cut 6 times, right? 3 by the same team, right? BC, every single stop has had significant meaning in my life because I've been able to have a chance to say, what could I have done better? Right? What could I have improved on? More than the success or the failures. And one of the things I've been working on, this last thing I'll leave you with, one of the things I've been working on, I think Mariel touched on slightly, was non-judgmental observation. It goes hand in hand with this reflection. When I look at something, I want to be able to look at it through a light of non-judgment. Be able to look at something and say, hey, almost detached from it in a way. Rather than saying, hey, was this a success or was it a failure? I want to see what could I have improved on, where could I grow, what did I do well, what could I do better? Right? Through that lens, I think I'm able to look at the future with excitement. I'm able to look at the pursuit with excitement and joy, and every single day wake up knowing that I have an opportunity to get better based on where I've come from and what I've done. So I appreciate you all listening. I know it's a lot of talking, but thank you for having me. Thank you for your time.
Hey, don't go anywhere. Great job, man. You killed it. You killed it.
Maybe later.
Okay, I'll save you one.
Okay, thanks.
There you go.
Can you sign it too?
The peanut? You want me to sign the peanut?
Yeah. Wait, can you sign them all?
Start first.
Peanut? Yes.
Yeah. Appreciate it. Yeah, great job, Nathan. Thank you. That was awesome. Our final speaker of the night has spent 13 years in the trenches of the CFL, playing over 200 games and anchoring the BC Lions offensive line to 2 Grey Cup champions. But if you ask him today, his most important work isn't happening on the football field. It's happening in the lives of the next generation. He's a master of leadership and the author of the powerful new book, Teenager, which all the youth athletes will be taking home tonight. He's here to show us how to turn potential into performance and how to lead with heart. Give it up for Angus Reid.
Okay. Why don't we at least get all the youth to just stand up for a sec? It's been a lot of sitting. I know for me, I kind of got to just kind of shake around a little bit. I don't want a peanut right now, but I thank you very much for offering. It's very kind of you. Just shake it out a little bit. No, you don't want to throw a ball at me. I played offensive line. That wouldn't be a smart move. You might not get it back, and I definitely won't get it. All right, have a seat. Why not? Let's make sure we know how this thing's working here. With that, you had a chance. Stand up, shake it out.
Thank you, bro.
Okay. So, I look out at the crowd and I see a nice range of age here. So, Bill had asked me to put together a slide deck, so I did. I will use it a bit, but I want to do a little more storytelling with you to share what I think is most appropriate for the audience I see today. That one go forward? There we go. Oh, that's got to go back. Okay, this is me when I played. You're right, I played 13 years, which in pro football is a long time. Okay, if being a pro football player is your dream, I'm going to tell you right now, not a good dream. It's not an advisable career choice. Because I might have played 13 years, which put me in the very top 1%, and that is not a very long career to begin with. It's a game that does not last long, even for the very good ones. And so I did it for longer than most. My body is paying for it right now, but I have memories, and honestly, for me personally, I'd do it again. And here's the real thing. It's because it's what I wanted to do. It's not what my parents wanted me to do. It's not what my friends said I should do, or coach said, you could be really good at it. They said that anyways. It's what I wanted. Okay? And so I'm going to challenge you tonight. It's not a physical challenge like running a hill, although that is a very good thing to do. This is a harder challenge. I'm going to lead off with a question my professional coach asked me the first day he met me. It shaped the rest of my career, and it still shapes my life to this day. And I hope this question sits with you tonight, no matter what age you are. And I hope it stays with you every single day. And I hope it haunts you a lot. And this is the question. How good do you want to be? Don't answer that to me right now. I want you to think on this. Because I'm going to tell you something right now as you go through life. You're going to be told a lot by people how good you can be. Other people will tell you how good you could be, how good you can be, how good we want to see you be. You're always going to be told by others. And one of the greatest skills you can learn in life is internally deciding how good you want to be. And here's the thing I'm going to tell you. No matter what age you are already answering that question. You are always answering that question. How good do you want to be right now? Sitting, listening, paying attention, or not? You are always answering that question. Most people just don't realize it and don't take time to think to answer it appropriately. But you're always answering it. Your whole life is answering that question. And what's really cool is you get to choose outlets to bring your answer. It might be football, it might be arts, it might be science or technology, whatever. And that's why it's so important to understand right now that you have this awesome power to decide what you want to do with your time to answer that question. Not what other people say you should do, or what looks cool to your friends, or what someone says you'll make a lot of money doing. What do you want to do to show the world how good you want to be? To show yourself how good you want to be. Because the greatest win in this world, whether you win championships or make a lot of money or have a lot of followers or friends or people think you're famous, the greatest win in this world is being proud of yourself. See, a lot of kids want mom and dad to be proud of them. Guess what? They already are. You don't have to worry about that. Don't worry about making your parents proud. They are always going to be proud of you. Don't worry about making your coach proud. They're going to be proud of you. Make yourself proud. Make yourself proud. Don't wait for the world to tell you you're doing good. See, this is what happens, and I see it now with, I coach high school football, so I'm around teenagers a lot. And there was, Coach, how did I do? You did it. You tell me how it was. I can coach you, I can correct you, I can guide you in improving. What do you think about what you did? Are you proud of it? That's all that really matters. Most of you are waiting for someone else to say, am I doing good? What do you think? See, this is what it really comes down to. Internalizing pride in yourself, knowing I'm bringing my best. How good you want to be. You bring your best to everything you do. You win games, you lose games, you get jobs, you lose jobs. It works, it doesn't work. You're a winner. You know every night you brought your very best. And here's the real thing you're going to learn as you get older. Most people don't. They do enough to make the team. They do enough to win All-Star. They say, Coach, how good do I got to do to get this? This good. They get it done, so they get it. I'm doing great. Was it your best? No. I don't know. Maybe. And you wake up one day older going, I should have brought more. I wish I tried a little harder. See, I played 13 years, and sure, I won 2 Grey Cups, and I was an All-Star many times, and team captain many times, so it looks like I did everything I dreamed of doing, and I did. But the greatest win I have, I look back at my career and say there was nothing more I could have done. I maximized who I was through football. And that's what I want for each of you. And that's why I'm not saying you got to play football. You got to choose something you love enough to bring your best to it. And you'll become something very rare in this world. And here's 2 questions revolving that question I asked you of how good you want to be. Who's the only person in the world that can answer that question?
God.
Yourself. You can fool a lot of people, and you can do good enough for other people to say you're doing great, but only you know. And here's the other part of that question. Who's the only person in the world that can stop you from bringing your best?
Yourself.
You might not make the team, you might not make the next level, you might get cut from this, you might lose the game. Nobody can stop you from bringing your best except for you. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what your age is. You can bring your best right now. And we're going to talk about it later about habits. and you get better at bringing your best, you get better at bringing your best, and you become a very rare person. It's not about more talent, less talent. It's about learning to bring your best. So that's me when I played, okay? About 87 pounds heavier. I was a different body when I played, because that's what offensive linemen needed to be. Okay, so you look at, well, I could never make it pro. Those are for different kinds of people, sure. This is when I played high school. That's me with the goofy haircut. Yeah, and I didn't play that long ago. My dad liked taking black and white pictures. He thought it was artistic, so like it wasn't from 1910, but whatever, okay? But if you look at that picture, you say, okay, that was my first high school football game. I didn't play football till grade 11, by the way. So that's grade 11. Now, I played more than almost everyone in BC Lions history, and I was the shortest and the smallest arms and smallest hands in the entire league my whole career. So I didn't have extraordinary gifts that were rare. I was unbelievably not what they want. But that's where it started. And you look at those two people. I'm going to tell you, probably ask the adults to give an honest answer. Who of those two do you think is going to play pro? When you look at it, this is the kid that's going to make it. The 6'4" guy bulging with muscles everywhere, or this kid with the goofy haircut that like looks like he's kind of shouldn't be out there. Don't judge yourself by where you are in life. Think about where you want to be and who you want to become. And judge yourself, am I thinking too small? Am I limiting myself by judging where I'm at? There's no way I could do that. Have you already stopped before you started? Judge yourself by your ability to believe in what you want to be. And ask yourself, why don't I believe I can do this? Because I'm too short. Because I never got on the field. I didn't play one down in my grade 11 year till the last 2 games. There was guys better than me everywhere. I played 13 years pro football. Do not judge yourself by where you're at, by what you think you can or can't do. Ask yourself why I don't believe I can do that. And then we're going to work on changing how you believe in yourself. But that's something right there. I look back on going, there was no way. And there would be no way if I said that. It's not about what others think you can't do. It's not about where you are. It's about what do you want to pursue in life, and are you willing to bring your very best? It doesn't mean it's going to work, but I guarantee you become better as a person. You become an unstoppable force that can take that wherever you go. If you learn to bring your best now while you're playing football, when football days are done, you know how to bring your best. That separates you from 99% of the world. Most people do enough to fool everyone else, to get paid, to get the raise, to get the promotion, whatever. To bring your very best in everything you do is extraordinarily difficult. But again, who can stop you? Only yourself. It's a decision. And you learn this early. This is Coach Dan. I had parents can probably appreciate this. I had the same coach for 11 years.
What?
Yes, 11 years. That's extraordinarily rare in life, to even have a coworker for 11 years or mentor or whatever. I had a positional coach for 11 straight years. So the depth of knowledge he pushed or he taught me, I absorbed from him, I took with me. But what was really interesting is I'm going to speak about what I learned from him that I intuitively learned when I was your age. He crystallized it in words that kind of made sense to me. And he was the one that asked me, how good do you want to be? And he's the one that talked about the greatest separator in life isn't talent, isn't skill, it's commitment. It's making decisions, this is what I'm going to do, and actually doing it all the time. And bringing your best to it. Most people don't. They do what they're naturally good at until they're not that good at it anymore, and they go to something else that's kind of easy to make money or have a lot of friends. This is what you're going to do. This is why it's important at your age to learn to decide this is what I'm going to do. Not what my parents are making me do. This is what I want to do. You are responsible for what you choose to bring your best to or not. Okay? So that's important to you. So Coach Dan, we don't rise to the level of our expectations, we fall to the level of our training. Everybody probably, I've never met anybody in life that says, I cannot wait to be really bad at life. I can't wait to be terrible at everything I do. Most people want to do good with their lives. Most people have dreams, whether they have the courage to say it or write it down or share it with friends. Most people want to do something well. Most people don't say, I cannot wait to be really bad at life. Most people want to do really well. The question is, when you actually get out to do it, you don't do well because you wish and hope and would like to do well. You end up doing really well because of what you do every single day. And talent doesn't do the work every single day. Committed people do. You just make a decision. You get better at what you do. So guess what? If you do things half and lazy, guess what you get better at doing? Half and lazy. This is the cool thing, and you're not too young to start doing this. You learn to bring your best now, guess what you get better at? Bringing your best. That's a skill in itself that most people do not do. And you're never too young to start building that habit. We talk about things that transfer. I coach high school football, okay? And I know very well that blocking, tackling, and throwing doesn't transfer well to raising a family. But bringing your best does. If you learn to focus on what you're doing, bring your absolute best to that, to see where you can improve, adapt to that, communicate with those around you, and work on the skills you need to get better, that transfers to every single thing in life. That's what we coach. That's what we teach. And that makes you pretty rare. Mick Cronin's a guy I got to speak with at a coaching conference one time. He said something interesting. Winners know why they win. Losers have no idea why they lose. And, you know, he's not just talking about basketball there. I mean winners in life. Winners are people that do what they've decided to do the best they possibly can again and again. What they do is intentional. Losers are people that drift through life doing whatever life makes them do, and they get mad when it doesn't work out, but they didn't really know what they were doing anyways. They do what everyone else is doing, but really want good things, but they don't intentionally do the work. They just drift through life hoping it'll be good, hoping they'll win, hoping things will work out. Hope is not a strategy. Okay? Winners know what they're doing. They're intentional. You can't win the game on Sunday if you don't do the work all week. It doesn't work that way. Okay? And, you know, he said something on the back end when I got talked to him afterwards. Losers have no idea why they win. Losers know exactly why they lost. He's talking about games. Winners know what they're doing in life. They eat things because they want to feel better. They get sleep because they know that's important. They do their homework because that's how you get better at the work. They practice the drills that they want to improve on the field. Losers just hope they'll get better at it and don't do anything and get mad it doesn't work out. And if it does work out, they say, great, we'll do that again. But they didn't do anything in the first place. They just rolled through life being happy when it works out, being mad when it doesn't. And there's a lot of those in this world, trust me, at every level. Winners are people that say, this is what I'm doing, this is why I'm doing it. Doesn't mean you win all the time, but you know what you're doing. And you can look at it and go, that's not really working, so I'm going to try something different. That's working better. I'll keep doing that. Again, that's a skill that'll transfer to everything in life. Valuable. Okay, Coach Dan taught me these two principles. I think you heard this earlier about, what was it? Don't think about a pink elephant, and so you thought about a pink elephant. Where focus goes, energy flows. Whatever you focus on will always grow. So guess what? You know, it's like, don't drop the ball, you'll focus on it, you'll drop the ball. But it's even simpler than that. You focus on why your life is so hard, guess what gets bigger? Hardness of life. And it builds and it builds, and it's all you can think about. And everything you look at is hard life, hard life. It becomes the focus where all your energy goes. If you see life as full of opportunities, guess what you'll see more of?
Life.
Opportunities. It's the way it is. It's the way it always has been in every age group. And here's what is a superpower that's getting more difficult in life to do. Who controls your focus? Your algorithm on your phone? Interesting. You should, but most of us don't anymore. We let what shows up on the screen drag us down a rabbit hole. There's 5 minutes, because you're not in charge, but you should be. Yet you always are. You decide your focus. And where focus goes, energy flows. A superpower in today's world is choosing to control your focus and actually doing it. Because nobody's actually stopping you. You're letting the world pull you wherever they want to pull you. And if you're not controlling your focus, the world will take you wherever they want to take you. You get to watch this for hours and then end up buying this because they drag you down there to watch it. You are in charge of your focus. Yet most of us give that away way too easily. We let what people say about us, we believe it. Now that's where our focus is gone. What someone else pulled us into their thoughts. And off we go, feeling back as someone says something. We control our focus. As parents, we cannot stress this enough with our children. The whole world's the same. Certain people look and focus at different things. They act differently, life goes differently. You choose your focus. But this one's even more important. Parents, same thing. I tell myself this every single day. You're always getting better at everything. What are you getting better at? Every time you do something, you get better at that. So the more you complain, guess what you get better at? Complaining. You build a skill with every action. The real goal in life is to get better at getting better. I know a lot of people, as they get older, they get better at getting worse. They get better at not paying attention. You get better at it. You get better at getting distracted. The more you allow yourself to be distracted, the better you get at allowing yourself to be distracted. This is why owning your focus matters so much now. You get better at not sitting still. or you get better at sitting still. That's why you got to decide, what do you want to get better at and how good do you want to be? Because you will always get better, and the habits you build now get harder to break as you get really, really good at not paying attention. It gets harder to change it because the pattern and habit is strong. You're always getting better at everything. I'm 49 years old. I still tell myself I want to keep getting better at getting better, because a lot of my friends are getting better at getting worse. They're getting better at getting older. I want to get better at getting older. I don't want to get worse at getting older. Think about that, because it's true. Every time you do something, you're improving that skill. That makes you be very intentional with what you're doing. Are you getting better at losing your cool? Are you getting better at keeping your cool? Are you getting better at seeing opportunities, or are you getting better at seeing problems? Are you getting better at complaining about them? Are you getting better at seeing the opportunity within it? Every time you do it, you get better at it, okay? Just like any skill and habit. Power of clarity. Know exactly what it is you want. I work with teenagers all the time. I'm telling you right now, as a coach, I'll give the parents a little, if you don't know, a little historical lesson of where the word coach comes from. I don't know if you know, historically, where the word coach comes from, the definition of a coach. So the definition of a coach is this. It comes from olden times, from a stagecoach. Okay, and a stagecoach was hired to take you on a journey from here to there because it was too far to walk or you couldn't get there on your own. The definition of a coach is someone that helps somebody get from point A to point B. When, and this is very important, when point B is where they want to go and they can't get there alone. So you have a coach help you. The trick is it's where you want to go. What do you want to do? If you hate playing football, you shouldn't be playing football. If you're doing it because other people are making you do it, it's going to be a chore, you're not going to like it, it's going to suck, okay? What do you want to do? Every high school player I work with, I ask them beginning of the season, what do you want to get out of this? Some people want to go play Division I, some people just want to have friends and have a good time. My job is to support your mission. I'm your coach, helping you get to whatever point B you want to get to. Not where I want to get you to. That's not a coach, okay? That's someone coercing you, making you do what I want you to do. A coach is helping guide someone on the mission you want. That's why you got to decide, what do you want? And then a coach can support that. So if you don't tell people your dreams, how can they help you? How can a friend be a friend if they have no idea what you want to do because you're too embarrassed to tell them? What do you want so a coach can support that? Your friends can support your mission. Know what you want. Don't outsource what you want to do to life to letting other people tell you what you should do. Decide what you want. That way you can become your best. Nobody can become their best doing what they don't want to do. Can't happen. You'll do enough so you don't get cuts, you don't lose your job, you will never bring your best. You'll regret things. Know exactly what matters most. Maybe it's family, whatever it may be, because that's going to guide you away from doing things that'll hurt what matters. It's really important, really important. Most people don't spend the time to think about this stuff. They just roll through life going, I wish I did this when I was there, because you never thought it through. See, the best way to build yourself against the troubles in life is to have a plan. I was told this a long time ago, because then you become a great sailor. When the storm hits, everybody freaks out about the storm. Winners steer the ship because they know where they're going. Their focus is on the wheel. Everyone else focuses on the storm because they don't have a plan. They don't know where they're going anyways. So when it's sunny, they're happy. When it's stormy, they're upset. Person with a plan steers no matter what. They're going to point B. They got places to go. They have things to do. Their focus is on what matters. Okay? Everybody remember Mike Tyson? Probably just remember him from goofy things you've seen on YouTube now. Well, when I'm old enough to realize he was a bad man. He was the #1 fighter in the world, and he was so much better than everyone else, it was ridiculous. Okay, Mike's done a lot of crazy things in his life and said a lot of silly things. This is one of the all-time great quotes, though. See, I've never met someone that didn't at some point in their life have a dream, have something they want to do. Somewhere along the way, maybe it was 10 minutes later, maybe it was a day later, maybe it was a week later, life punched them in the face. It gets hard, something goes sideways, it doesn't work. And most people let that dictate that they give up, they quit, they complain because this happened. What we want to do is build a Tyson plan for everybody. How do you handle life's punches and keep moving forward? And there's things we can do we're going to talk about in a moment. Because greatness isn't built on being better than someone, it's being able to handle all the stuff that's going to happen. And keep your focus where it matters. But what you want to do is not just say you're going to do that because it's too hard. You need a proper plan. You need things that I'm going to share with you quickly here that you can actually do to give yourself the best chance. See, what we're trying to do as parents, and I have 3 young boys, and as a teacher and a coach, is encourage our youth to do everything they can to tilt the odds a little bit in their favor, to give yourself the best chance. So you can bring your best, and at the end of the day go, there was nothing more you can do. And you win. That's a win. That is a win, okay? So this is when I was Superman. One thing I had was the ability to believe in my own craziness, okay? But this is how success works, by the way. Strategy, story, state. I'm going to tell you right now, strategy is like the weight room plan you get, or like the playbook coaches put in, and like, this is how we're going to block it, and this is the way the San Francisco 49ers do it, and this is like so-and-so's great workout program, or the nutrition plan. I'll tell you something right now. Strategy is the easiest part of this whole equation. It is so easy. It's everywhere. That's why when I talk at coaching clinics, I'm like, I'm so tired of talking technique. It's not hard. You can find answers anywhere to what you want. If information was the reason people didn't succeed, that'd be a different story. This world is not short of information. It's all there. The answers are all there. It's all out there. There are no secrets, by the way. It's all out there. How to do things is all out there. Okay, that's the very, very easiest part of the formula. But we are emotional creatures. We don't always do what we're supposed to do. We know how to eat, we just don't always do that because I just feel like this and that, and off we go. And 2 weeks later, we're nowhere closer to where we want to get to. We know what we're supposed to be doing. And we can teach our youth, and they're going to know. Knowledge isn't the problem. Strategy is very, very easy. Okay? Story can be a problem. I don't feel like it today. I'm a loser. I'm never going to get there. We talk about, resilience. We tell ourselves we can never do it. I had bad practice yesterday, which now puts your focus on that, but you're not going to bring your best today, and then you get better at not bringing your best because everything compounds. The story you tell yourself matters. But here's the problem, and here's the downside of positive self-talk. It's nonsense if you don't have the right state, because now you're lying to yourself. Just tell yourself it's great. Okay, it's great, it's great. But your body knows it's not. And so now you know you're just lying to yourself. And it's fluff. It's not sustainable. What matters most is your state. And I'm going to tell you right now, you can do everything possible to control this. People that control their state become more immune to what life is throwing at them, because they've built a fortress of state that's going to support them feeling good, which supports them doing good, which they can enact the strategy, and then good things happen. So here's my anchor state. This is my office now, okay? But when I was your age, I still have posters. That was one of my heroes when I was a kid. That was one of my heroes when I was a kid. I'm 49 years old. I still keep them on my wall. Heroes, people I looked up to, people I wanted to be more like. I surround myself. All my walls are filled with, there's my children right there. There's things I've done well. There's a history of my success I had. But when I was your age, it was posters everywhere of everybody that filled me with positive state motivation to be more like this. So I was never looking around going, oh, this sucks, life's terrible. I couldn't wait. Every waking moment, my visual consumption was things that inspired me. My parents thought it looked crazy. My brothers thought it was goofy. That's not what I wanted, though. I never let my eyes wander to something that didn't support me being energized to keep going. So nowadays, maybe it's not your room, but maybe it's a cell phone. What are you looking at? And you get to control what you decide to put in front of your face. And do everything possible to make every waking moment, what you're surrounded by, things that feed a positive state. So you tell yourself a good story. So you actually go out and do the work that you already know how to do. And you get it done maximally because you feel good about it. Problem is, we're putting a lot of things in our eyes that are either dragging you down to buy this product, to be more like this, to listen to what they want to talk about, or it's going to make you feel bad because you're watching other people going, I'll never be like that. That's not helpful. That would be helpful. What you want to be more like that excites you, that inspires you, that empowers you. Be very careful what you put in front of your eyes. And guess what? You have choice over that. Most of your life you do now. Be very careful what you're consuming via the television, via magazines, via your phone, and be proactive. Pick things that are going to make you feel really great, that are going to inspire you to do better, to bring your best, to be more like that. It sounds simple. It's incredibly powerful, because then you tell a better story, which means you'll actually go out and do that work. Or you'll maybe eat better, and you'll go to sleep because you feel like you want to go there. You're always going to be internally motivated, because you're consuming things that just feed your own fire. And most people don't now. They scroll nonsense. So they feel like crap, so they don't do what they should do. And then you know what happens tomorrow? They feel worse because they didn't do what they should do, so they double down because they got better at that. They improved their ability to feel bad about who they are. They got really good till they became masters of it. because state sets everything. That will tell the story you tell yourself, and that story will dictate what you go out and do and how you do it. And that over time will become who you are. It's extremely powerful when you're never too young to realize what you're putting in front of your eyes matters. Choose what works for you, and maximize your ability to only see what matters. This is probably the best thing you can possibly do, though. At certain ages, listen, I hope you're eating pretty good food. I hope you're getting your sleep. I hope you're doing the things that matter. Not everybody has all control over that, but you get to a certain age now. When you go to school, you have probably 100% choice of who you spend time with your peers. You become the environment you surround yourself with from a peer level. 100%. So I look back on my life, and the most success I ever had was based on 3 categories of people that I surround myself with outside of my family. And listen, I come from a great family. But as we get older, we spend less and less time in the house and more at school and more at practice with your buddies and with other people. You got to realize right now, the people that you choose to spend that time with will form who you become. Choose carefully. Choose appropriately. Choose wisely. Choose selfishly. Choose people that you know will help you become better. Not just this kid's cool and everyone will think I'm cool. Who cares what people think? Are they going to help you get better at who you want to become? So listen, I think there's mentors, there's friends, and there's super friends. Mentors are going to be your coaches. You know, adults, older people that you don't have to be buddies with and look cool beside. They're going to help guide you objectively. They're not your parents. They're adults that have probably been there, they've seen more than you, and they can look at you from caring eyes and help guide you. Not being your buddies that just want to let you know it's cool, to actually help you. Coach you, let you know where you're at, give you objective feedback. And if someone actually gives you their time from that position, hang on to it. That's rare. They want to help you succeed. Keep those people extremely close. They care about you. They don't have to do this. You find them, you hold on to them. I had this Coach Howie and Coach Del Monte. These are my high school coaches. It's very dark right there. To this day, I still talk to them once a week. I mean, that's 30 years later. They molded me as who I am through football, and they stayed with me my whole journey, and I've held them close. And they'll tell me when they think I'm out of line now. And they'll tell me when I think, they'll give me their opinions on what I should do, and I listen carefully because they're saying it only out of care. Because they're not my family, and they're not my buddies. They're people that just literally helped coach me, and they want to coach you through life. You have your friends, okay? Friends are probably not necessarily ones that you play your sports with. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. But these are people that you want to be more like in a character sense. They're good people, okay? They speak about good things. They're supportive of you. They cheer for you. They're people you want to hang out with, and when you leave feeling better about who you are, not worse. If you leave in environments of people feeling worse, stop hanging out with those people. You want to be around people that you feel better and you want to be a little bit more like. Then the real super weapon is a group I call super friends. You see me up there, the kid with the white shirt and the guy walking with the 49ers hat on at the top. I was 15. You saw that picture when I was that skinny kid with the goofy haircut. And I said, I want to play football. I really want to do this. And I was in no position for that to be a realistic dream. I couldn't even get on my high school team. I want to be a pro football player. I wasn't that big, and I was extraordinarily below average in everything you could imagine. And football at the highest levels were for like the highest level of exceptional. I was extraordinarily below average. So I made a decisive decision at the end of grade 11. I'm going to intentionally seek out the very best people at my age bracket that are doing what I want to do. These were 2 young guys, 2 kids that were a year older than me. Didn't go to the same high school. But I went to school in Vancouver. These kids, I grew up in Richmond. They were Richmond High kids. They lived close enough to me that I could ride my bike and walk over to their house. I knew the gym that they worked out, a public gym. It was the first time I ever got a gym pass, grade 11. It was a public gym, and I knew where they worked out. I intentionally seeked them out. And I went up to them. These kids were legends. They would lift super hard and run and train. 24 hours a day, that's all they did, work out. High school kids. That's all they did. And they had dreams of going pro. I want to be like that. I don't want to read about it. I want to do it. And the easiest way is to surround yourself with people on the same mission you are, and ideally are a little bit ahead of you. And I went up to them in the gym. It's changed my entire life. I went up to them, Greg and Mark. Greg's in the white, Mark's in the gray hoodie. I said, guys, can I work out with you?
Yes.
I literally asked them that. You know what the response was? Never forget. Uwe said this to me. You can keep up. It was the greatest response he ever said. I spent the rest of my life keeping up. Just hanging in there. And And they were going. They weren't going to go, okay, we'll make it easy and hang on. It's what we're doing. Yep, you can join. We don't slow down. It's what we do. Okay. That day on, I stuck like glue. And they were always stronger than me and faster than me and always worked hard. And I just wanted to do more. And in 6 months, I changed who I was. We'd go to Greg's house every night, and every night we'd watch football. This is pre-internet, so he had football drills on VHS. All night long, watch it. Other people were watching, whatever shows they'd watch and waste time all day long. And I never forget Greg. All night long, he'd do push-ups all night while he's doing it. I was lying on the couch watching. I'm like, we're not the same. There's something different, this kid. And he'd watch what he's eating. I'm like, I didn't really know what I was eating. He cared what I'm eating. Okay, well, maybe I should start caring what I'm eating. You become what you surround yourself with, and I chose the very best there was locally that I could get near, and I decided to intentionally go out of my way to go, can I hang out with you guys? And we have a friendship now that's stronger than ever. By the way, I was pretty big there in college, but Greg is about 5'5", white shirt. He was about 150 pounds in high school. Mark is about 5'6", and he's a bit heftier, but maybe, 200 pounds. All three of us said we're going to be pro football players. Good luck with that. I mean, we're not what pro football wants. We're going to do it. And every waking moment, we pursued it together. It was super easy to stay on track because one day was having an off day, so we'd pull you up, and he was having an off day, so we'd pull him up because we were always around each other. We kept feeding each other's fire again and again. And we removed ourselves from the nonsense of teenage life because we had a mission together. And together it was fun. Long story short is this. I played my 13 years. Greg, 5'5", okay? He went down and played college football down in New Mexico State and played 10 years pro in the CFL. 10 years. Like he is, no, but 10 years. Mark went down to the U.S., played college football, and then he became a strength coach and was with the San Francisco 49ers when they went to the Super Bowl, I think, in 2014, I think? Was it 14 they went? Lost to the Seahawks, right? Yeah. He was strength coach of the year in the NFL. #1 strength coach in America. We're from Richmond. It's incredible what is possible. Not when just you believe it, but when you surround yourself with like-minded people that say, this is what we're going to do. Let's do it together. And you have unbelievable fun. Maxing out what you can be with like-minded peers. Not because the coach made us, not because mom and dad said we have to do this. We made a decision, and we did it. And there was no bigger win in the world. And we asked ourselves how good you want to be. We became our very best. And that's what I want for everybody here, to become your very best, because there's no bigger win in the world. And I'll tell you, when Coach Dan finished his conversation with me, that first time I met him when he asked me that question, he told me this simple truth. He said, Angus, you can do all these things and bring your very best to everything you do. But here's reality. I can't guarantee you'll have a long career. I can't even guarantee you'll make this football team this year. But I can guarantee you this. If you learn to bring your very best to everything you do, you will become the very best version of you. And I'm going to tell you right now, when we talked about winners, there is no greater win in this world than that. When you become my age or older than me and you look back and go, I maxed out what I'm capable of. There is no better feeling in that world. You don't want to look back going, I wish I did what I loved and brought more to it. That's not good. There's me and my two boys. I got 3 boys, but this was my 2 older ones. 3 things everybody needs. Listen, I don't want to go too far on this. This is more for coaching, to know they belong, to know someone believes in us, to know that we can. Once you learn you can. Once you learn you can do something you didn't think you could do, it's very dangerous. You know why? Because the next thing you say, I couldn't do that. That's what you said about that. Remember when you did it? So let's remove that and let's get back to work. Because now you're focusing on what you can't do and why you can't do it. Wrong place. Anyways, and just be intentional. That's what winners are. They're intentional. Losers complain, whine out of response. They complain about everything, they whine because that's emotionally led. Winners make decisions on how they act.
Are you always
Sunny? Yeah. Sunny, rainy, irrelevant. They steer the boat. They're too busy doing what they're doing to complain about what's happening. They keep going, okay? This is a guy I spoke with him. He's the head of the Australian military. He had this great quote. I love it. The standard you walk past is the standard you accept. And it's one thing as a coach to say that for our team, but this is what I'm going to challenge the youth in the room for. The standard you walk past is the standard you accept for yourself. You decide who you're going to be, and you don't act accordingly, you're accepting that of yourself. And only you really know that. See, I want you to internalize success. Not wait for the world to tell you you're good or bad. Don't wait for people on Instagram to say this is cool or not. What do you think? I'm proud of this act. I'm not. I am. Adapt accordingly. That's real winners in this world. They know who they want to be, and they know what they're doing. And they bring their best. And if it's not their best, they adapt and change. It's okay. If you're old enough, try this. Try it at school tomorrow. Dare you. Coach Dan told me he did this every morning. I didn't believe him. I realized he did. So I've made it my mission to do this every morning of my life now. Cell phone, make it easy.
What does that say?
Who can I thank?
Oh.
Imagine you do that every single day. That's 365 days you thank somebody. That's pretty powerful. It gets you out of your own head. You know why most people have anxiety? They think too much about their own situations and problems in life. They don't act, so they just think about it. They worry. Start looking at other people. It'll remove tension and it creates action. You're going to do something. Action is always the antidote to anxiety anyways. So if you don't know what to do with your own situation, go thank somebody. Who can I acknowledge for being great? Maybe it's a classmate. Maybe it's a friend. They did something well. Let them know. Let them know. Who can I offer help to? Oh, my life's so hard. Go help somebody. Go help somebody. You're going in action, you're getting out of your own head and being of service to somebody. You'll never go wrong. You'll never go wrong. You'll waste hours going, oh, it's so terrible. Go help someone right now. Motion creates emotion. You'll feel better about it after you do an action that's positive. Just go ask help. And here's the last one. Who can I reach out to? The parents in the room, I think you'll appreciate this. You ever heard from someone you haven't heard from in like 15 years? What's your initial response? What do you need? What are they reaching out for? They need something. So now I'm freaking out my old friends because you reach out to them, like, what do you need? Nothing. Just want to say hi. You okay? What do you really need? I don't need anything because we don't do that. We think about people. We don't tell them we're thinking about them because that's kind of weird. You know how powerful it is when someone reaches out and goes, man, I just want to let you know, I know we don't talk much anymore, but I'm so happy we're friends and the times we had is great. What do you need though? Nothing. 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 It's hard to feel bad about life when you do these things. It sets in motion a better state. And you become a better person and a better friend. Steve Nash. Anyone remember Steve Nash? Young kids here? Okay. You want to be a good teammate, good person in life? How many, does anyone know how many minutes there are in an NBA game? 48. Close. 48. So the NBA used to record things like this because they have too much money, so they just do all kinds of crazy stuff. But this was the season he was league MVP. He's the very best player in the NBA. So obviously he's worried about scoring all the points and getting all the assists and making sure they win the game. Sure. And on top of that, he averaged 239 high fives every single game. You know what a high five is? Hey, awesome, I'm so happy you're my teammate. You're doing great. Outstanding. 239 in 48 minutes if you played all the 48 minutes. That is incredible. That's not by accident. That's intentional. That's the very best player in the league, making sure everyone on the team goes, you matter, you're awesome, you matter. I'm so grateful I play with you. Outstanding job, well done. I don't know a player in the world that says they didn't love playing with this guy. And he was the best. He could have been a selfish guy that wasn't good to anyone because he's the best player in the league. He chose to be the best teammate out there. You can do that today at school, tomorrow night. Again, if you think too much about yourself, you'll get anxiety, you'll spin, you'll worry, you'll become too self-involved anyways. Know what you want to do and go do it. The rest of the time, go help people. Ask to support people. Let people know how good they're doing. Try 239 high fives in a day. It's hard. He did it in 48 minutes. That's a leader that intentionally says, I'm going to make everyone around me better, or at least feel better. He's affecting their state, and I guarantee you it affected his positively. Become someone that's out there doing good. It's hard to worry about yourself when you're so busy congratulating everybody else. And everyone will do the same for you, and around we go. We build this great environment where people stop complaining and people start supporting. And we get fired up about doing great things with our lives. So I'll leave you with this very last question, same one we started with. Because you get to pick this right now. I don't care if you're 7 years old, 8 years old, 17 years old, 37 years old, 57 years old. It's irrelevant. You're never too young to take your life into your own hands and to decide, who do I want to become? Who do I want to become? And we're always becoming, remember? We're always getting better at everything. We're always becoming. We're never there. Because you get to act now and you can slide back. We're never there. It never ends till ends. So right now we're still becoming, no matter what age we are. So the question always is right now, and it always will be, whatever act you're about to do, how good do you want to be? How good do you want to be? And you're always going to show the world the answer, and I hope you're proud of your answer. I want you to be proud of your answer. You should be proud of your answer. That's a life worth living. Thank you, guys. Okay, buddy? Okay. Been a while. All right.
One sec, yeah.
There we go.
Right on. Thanks, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys, what we're going to do next is we're going to do a quick set change, and we're going to get the rest of the gang out here. We're going to do a Q&A. So give us a few minutes. We'll be right back. Yeah, I bet.
Water, Angus?
Give me some more sweater.
Caden.
I got you, Caden.
All right. How's everybody doing? Yeah? Everybody awake? Not falling asleep yet? I know it's definitely past your bedtime. Yeah. Well, we have 5 questions here that we're going to get at their start with. These were submitted during the registration, so some of you may recognize these questions. So no particular order. Meryl, you're up. We often try to protect our kids from disappointment, but you have spoken a lot about values of hard moments. Can you explain why failing at a young age is actually a requirement for building long-term resiliency?
That is an excellent question. Who
Good
put
job.
that in?
Good job.
You know, being a parent, we want to protect our kids all the time, don't we? Like, we don't want our kids to hurt or feel shame or embarrassed or go through hard things. It just is what it is. Kids, believe it or not, that's how we feel. But those moments are such huge teaching moments. And so when we shield our kids from that, we actually take away their opportunity to realize that they're stronger and they can bounce back. Does that make sense? Does that answer the question? Yeah.
Point. Thank you. All right, Nathan, you got to follow up that. That was a great answer. Nathan, your journey hasn't been straight line to the top. What was your specific process for dealing with the lows or those moments that you've doubted it if things would work out? How did you mentally move on to the next play?
Yeah, I mean, when things didn't go my way, I honestly have always kind of just buried myself in the work. When I was in Jacksonville, I remember being very frustrated that I wasn't playing, very frustrated in coaching decisions, and just throwing balls in the nets for hours after practice, and that was a real way of me. It was very therapeutic in a way for me to be able to just get the reps out, feel like I'm prepared in some sort of way, and that was a way that I dealt with that for better or for worse. Yeah, just buried myself in the work.
Kind of just clear your head.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, Angus, you're up. Angus, you played for over 200 games in the trenches. Looking back at your younger self, what were the intangible things you did, the extra work that allowed you to actually make it to the CFL level?
I think being undersized my whole life, I had a healthy or unhealthy, extreme underdog mentality that, and this isn't always the best way to fuel your own fire, but I had an insecurity that I had to keep going because I wasn't really supposed to be there in the first place. So I was blessed to never be comfortable there, to never be like, well, I've made it, let's cruise now. Every day, and you know, to the level that I look back, and now that I coach high school football, one of my regrets, and it truly is one of my regrets in my pro career, I don't think I allowed myself to enjoy it enough. I had a paranoia that, and it's interesting because, and here's the thing, kids, when you talk about the very highest level of anything, the very highest level, it's not always a healthy balance in that place. You're going to extremes, and extremes are not always healthy. They're extremes in terms of mindset and where you go, and that's why I said at the beginning, it better be what you want, because I got to levels where, you know, you would lose a game, and I would lose my focus, and I wouldn't let myself, or you know, we won a Grey Cup. I remember we won a Grey Cup, and I missed 2 blocks. And that's all I thought about. And my focus was in the wrong spot, and they're celebrating and partying, and I'm beating myself up over these two plays. So on the one hand, I forgot to enjoy things, but on the other hand, I think that really kept driving me, because I think if I relaxed and took it easy, I didn't have the natural ability to be. I played with guys, they could just show up and they were going to get 10 years because everyone was begging them to play for them. I was the one knocking down the door that I was going to go. So I always pitted myself that, like, I have to do more, which isn't always the best way to go about it. But it got me to a level that I don't think I could have done if I was just like, let's just enjoy the process. I had to bring more. I had to do more than someone beside me. I just had to. So that was wired when I was young. So that was the only way I could do. That's the only way I knew how to do things, is to bring more to the table than anybody.
Right. As a coach now, and
It's totally different. I approach things completely different now with the high school kids. Listen, I've shifted winning completely from an external result to I work with business owners too. There's two questions I lead every conversation with, and the same I lead the football players with. Did you bring your best and are you proud of yourself? Everything else is not a big deal. And if they answer that, then that's a win. And I shifted something. Nathan, you probably think this is crazy. Now with football, it's you have the huddle and huddle online, so the kids, the film's out within like an hour, right? And everyone's waiting for the grades. Everyone's waiting to see how coach said I played, to see if they're proud of themselves or not. And I don't do that anymore. I mean, we grade it, and I make them submit how they think, how they played them first, without me painting at all. So mom and dad and coach don't say you played well, so they feel good, and then they tell you they played well. What do you think you did? How did you do out there? I want to hear from you first. And I want to know if they're proud of things. And then we can coach and correct, but I don't want them to. Can I give one advice to parents? I learned this 2 years ago, only 2 years ago. I had a great coach that told me he was proud of me more than I could remember. And my parents said they were proud of me more than I can remember. And I was speaking at a conference one time, and this really famous CEO, I was speaking before and after him. He was big on words, and he asked me, Angus, how often do you tell your kids and the young men you coach you're proud of them? I said, more than you can imagine. He said, be careful with that. I said, what do you mean? He goes, you're raising your kids to wait for your approval to be proud of themselves. They do something, they show daddy, what do you think? And they're waiting to see if daddy's proud. I'm proud of you. Then they're like, really good. And coach goes, players do it on the field, and they're waiting for coach. Is coach proud of me? Then they stand up a little straighter. I'm like, well, what are you supposed to do? And so this is a tip I learned, and it's changed everything. My boy does something, he draws a little picture or something, and he shows it to me. Because they're waiting to see if I think it's good. And kid posts something on Instagram. They're waiting to see if the world thinks it's a good picture or not, to see if they're happy with it. And the world says it sucks, then they're all depressed. What did you think about it? Nobody cares. They're waiting to see what someone else says, right? They're waiting for coach to say I did good. And so player does good, or my boys do something good, I look at that, and player does something good on the field, to the look, I say, look, see what you did right there? You need to be very proud of that. You see why. You have to be very proud of yourself. I am always going to be proud of you. You don't worry about that. You don't have to worry about me. You know why you should be proud. Yes. And I tell my boys, you understand me? You're proud, right? Yeah, Dad, I'm really proud of this. Good. You should be. I'm always going to be proud of you. You do not have to worry about that. And make the players realize you're proud of that. You see why you should be proud. Yeah, coach. You want to build that internal ability for them to be proud. And I think as a player, I didn't have that. I was always waiting to be evaluated. And that was a stressful way to go through life. I want to remove that from the players today so they can internalize their efforts and know they're really doing well.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Don't go too far. I got another one for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll make this one faster. That was too long.
TikTok.
Not my forte.
Well, this is going to be for you and Nathan together here. So, Angus, you spent your career studying and teaching leadership. In your experience, what are non-negotiable characteristics required of a teammate to be a good teammate and a captain? I'll come to you now.
I think specifically as a captain, you're always looking at what is best for your teammates and the team first. You become subservient to that, where young players, they're selfish by nature, and humans are selfish by nature, and that's the difference between a leader and somebody else. Is what is the best for our team and to support the players around me, and then you feed that, and that's your job, and you still have to do your job on top of that. But your mindset can't be what's best for me to make sure I score my points to get my bonus and become my all-star. A leader has removed that responsibility from coaching leadership. So the best teammates I ever played with, they do the same thing. They brought their best because it supported the team and their teammates winning.
Yeah, all right. Let's piggyback on that a little bit here, Nathan. As a current player in the huddle, what is one thing you expect most from the person leading your team?
Yeah, when Angus was talking about it, the clip from Michael Jordan documentary, The Last Dance, kind of came to mind. And I never expected some other people to do, I never I never expected someone else to do something that I wasn't willing to do. And so when I think about, because I want to lead that huddle like that. When I step in the huddle, Angus knows it's the quarterback's huddle. You're calling it though. You're calling it. If I'm not showing up and getting all my lifts in, I'm not showing up early to get my lifts in, I can't expect anybody else to do that. If I'm not staying late after practice to watch film or to get extra work in, how can I expect anybody else to do that? So I think that, to me, obviously, yes, I think echoing what Angus said about wanting what's best for the team, right, and putting the team first, I think that's 100% true. But especially at our level, the pros levels, like I walked into the locker room as a 24-year-old coaching offensive lineman who played for, 15 years. They can see through all the BS that if you're putting on a facade and you're just kind of going through the motions, they're not going to buy into a word you're going to say. And so for me, it was, I'm going to prove to these guys that I'm about what I'm going to show these guys through action first, and then they're going to follow after that. And the last thing I'll say is that I'm a firm believer in servant leadership. I believe in making sure that all my teammates know that I care about them first as people before I want to boss somebody around or yell at them or anything like that. I want to make sure that they know that I care about them, and things I do for that is, like, if there's no one, like, we're short-staffed at the Lions with water and stuff like that sometimes with our ATs. They wear multiple hats. The big guys need water, especially the big guys who are protecting me. Right? I want to make sure that they got their water, or if there's equipment left on the field, I'm going to go pick it up. One of the things that drives me crazy is we leave tape on the field all the time. Our EQ guys have to go and pick that up. That's my field. That's where I practice. This is my organization. I'm proud of this organization. I want to go and set the standard there. So, and I do that because I care about every single person on the field. And so I'm a firm believer in that, for sure.
Yeah, well said. Thank you, Nathan. Not surprised. Another one for you. Nathan, football is the ultimate team sport. Who is your most memorable teammate at any level of your career, and what was it about them that stuck with you?
So many come to mind. I'll talk about one in particular. I don't know, some of the people here might know this name, but Brian Burnham, he was a BC Lions receiver, one of the best in league history. But he comes to mind because he was my vet. And what that means for a young guy coming in the league is, as much as influential as Mike Riley was to me in my quarterback room, he was a guy who took me under his wing and showed me the ropes. And he was a great teammate because he truly showed me how to be a professional in terms of having that balance, walking the line between the balance between a professional life and a personal life. Him and his wife went through some crazy things. It's all online if you wanted to go dive deeper into it that season. And you could never tell by the way he treated other people, the way he came into work every single day, the way that he spoke to you. His work ethic never changed. All the things that he was dealing with, had a very, very heavy heart, dealt with some crazy things. And just his mental toughness to get through that always stood out to me, and he was always a great teammate to me. He was always a great teammate to everybody else, but he truly taught me how to be a pro. So I would say Burn. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. Angus, I could see that you were thinking of a teammate there.
Oh, I didn't have to think long.
Yeah.
A guy named Bobby Singh. Bobby played right guard. Bobby's a great trivia question answer. He's the only guy in football history to have a Super Bowl ring, a Grey Cup ring, and an XFL ring, which could never be duplicated now. I knew Bobby since I was a kid because he's a Richmond guy, same age as me. We grew up together. Bobby's one of the best offensive linemen I ever played with, best competitor, but he made football fun. Like all he wanted to do was people to laugh and have a good time, and he always did everything to make sure everyone around him was having fun. But I mean, come kickoff and game day, the guy was a competitor. Like, he'd go win the game, and he was all-star. He was incredible. But even in the huddle, Let's make sure we're laughing. Let's make sure and I was told this a long time ago too. You don't work football, you play football. It's a game. And he was the one that, as much as I had anxiety and my own stress of Bobby was always the one cracking a joke after the play because we got 30 seconds before we have to go do it again. He made sure everyone was having fun, always.
Do you think it's a coincidence that Bobby has 3 championships rings and he was that type of guy?
I think it's a conspiracy. Somehow Bobby did that. No, we'd go out and have fun. He'd go, what kind of night is it tonight, Bobby? It's an XFL night. Depending on what ring he'd put on. And it was all, listen, Bobby was the kind of guy, and here's the thing. You can be the greatest athlete in the world. You become a better person, you get more chances. People want to give more opportunities to good people. And at the highest level, everyone's really good. So the difference becomes people that they want around you. You know, good coach can pick 1,000 players for the team. It's not hard to find a talented guy. You pick people you want there for a variety of reasons. And if you can play and you make the locker room better and people enjoy being around you and you're a guy that brings something good to the team, you're going to keep getting chances. And that's the best thing you can get in life is an opportunity and more opportunities. I would agree. Bobby, I've never known anyone that has a bad word to say about the guy. And those last after football. Do business with that guy. You want to hang out with them. You want to do deals. You want to do everything with this guy. And he's great. And you know, he's something that I, again, wish back I had more fun. I wish I was more like Bobby. And I try to bring that to coaching now, I think.
Awesome. Thanks. Okay. So, you know, we've heard some incredible answers tonight and some insights from the 3 of you. We're going to throw it out to the audience now. Hold on.
Oh, there's a heavy.
Yeah.
Up there.
Yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do is we have a roaming mic. Coach Chris is going to walk around, and Mariel, why don't you pick somebody for the first question?
It's hard to blind lights.
This group way up here, sorry to make you walk all the way to the top of the stairs. They were so fast. Somebody from that group up there.
Is there? Oh gosh, that's a lot.
They get the football too. Nathan, are you warmed up?
How's the shoulder?
I don't know. How you feeling?
See, in a suit.
Are you ready to catch a football? You can aim really good. We know
Can you hear me?
that.
I have a question for Nathan. What was your favorite playbook to learn when you were in the NFL?
Cool. Oh. I can tell you which one it definitely wasn't.
That works.
When I was in New York with the Giants,
Keep it.
they had the craziest system of stuff. I really want to talk to you about it because the protection made no sense, trying to learn all that stuff. If it's 70 protection, it should be 7-man protection.
So.
But you would think it was actually 5. That's stupid, right? So that one was crazy. It had all code words. I had 130 code words that meant certain things, and sometimes it was like one call, like one word play call. I don't know if you have like this if you're in your hurry up or something like that, like one word play. That was their offense, and it was we had 130 of them in OTAs, and it was brutal. I hated it. I was glad about that one that I didn't do it. The tough one I would have to say the best one I would have to say I like Jacksonville. Press Taylor did a good job. So, yeah.
Chuck that ball.
Beautiful. Hey, whoever asked that, stand up and see if you can catch this ball.
Woo! Hands up. Oh, yeah, a little short. All right.
First pick of the year?
Yeah.
That was exactly where I wanted it.
Didn't get film of that, right?
Oh, well. You underthrew it. What do you want me to say?
I am accurate.
Yeah, I agree.
You ran the wrong route.
That was the target he was looking for.
All right. Let's go next. Right there. Who's that guy? Yeah. Great.
Work your way, man.
Got to make Chris run.
Some fitness in there.
Yeah.
It's good.
Come on, Chris.
Coach's job is to make systems easier, not harder for players.
Oh, I know.
It's hard enough.
Was it like
So throughout your careers, what was one thing that you guys did that kind of set you apart and allowed you to make that play, make that winning difference?
Angus, why don't you hit that one first?
So again, I shared stories about my great coach, Dan Durazio, and he's legendary for off-season training with us that was meticulous on like every detail to become better. But they were voluntary. So the short answer is, I actually did everything my coach taught me, all the time. And you don't have to, but I did. I think my difference was I bought into absolutely everything he coached me to do. I trusted everything he did, and I did it. And that gave me always my best chance to perform it. Yeah, I did everything Coach told me to do all the time with everything I had.
Yeah, I would say mine's kind of along the same lines. Like, I have never ever stepped on a field thinking that I was the most talented, but I've always felt like I've wanted it more than everybody else. And so when it came time to do extra practice and do that type of stuff, I loved it, and it never felt like it was more work for me. And so I've always felt like I've worked harder than everybody else, and that's because I've wanted it more. And the uncomfortable truth about that is that stuff is really, really boring. Like, you have to really enjoy the boring stuff. And for me, it wasn't boring, but for the staying late and doing the same thing over and over again, that's it gets repetitive. But I always found joy in that, and I think not everyone's willing to do that. Even at the NFL level, you'd be surprised. Not everyone loves it. Not everyone likes it, and but for a guy like myself, and I'm sure Angus, you could talk to it, like, who's not the most talented, I had to work for everything, and I think I outworked everybody.
Beautiful. Next question, let's throw it towards...
Yeah.
That's what I was just going to go with.
Oh, you want me to answer
Yes,
the team?
yes,
Okay, there we go. That's good. I worked really hard at bringing value besides just my volleyball skills. I wanted to bring a attitude of gratitude. I wanted to help my teammates be able to bounce back after mistakes and really be the energy of the team too. And that set me apart as well. And so there's always a way to add value on top of the skill that you have. That was my key.
Yeah, great. So the next question, let's direct it to Mariel, because she's getting quiet over there. Who's got a question?
I do.
Okay. Fire, Caden.
I do. What did it feel like to be, how does it feel like to be in the CFL?
Okay, we'll come back to you, Mariel.
It's amazing. It feels so good. Notice how I got big there, everybody.
Good. Good answer.
Yeah, good job. Yeah, great.
Yay! Everyone's pointing at
Chris, Coach Chris, can you come down and check Nixon out?
Good luck. Oh, you're making it work.
Can you bring the microphone
Yeah.
He can.
Hey, man, you don't
need a microphone.
back? Pointing at.
This kid was on the jersey. Is that who's getting it? Yeah. He's been desperate.
Can you sign my peanut?
Pushed through.
Who do you think, what people do you think supported you the most and kept you playing your sport and just kept you in the game?
I can easily lead off. I mean, both my parents and my family were incredibly supportive, but my mom was always the. Look, I'm not going to tell you the whole story, but I didn't play till grade 11 because I got extremely sick in grade 9, and I was almost dead. Like, I was in the hospital. I would grow up Catholic. I had my last rites read. It was done. So my mom pulled me through that one and encouraged me through. I was really in the dumps. I did no sports, grade 9, grade 10, nothing. Then in university, I missed 3 of my 5 years. I lost 100 pounds. I was terminally ill again. Like, done. My mom was the one beside me all the time, not saying I play football, but making sure I never quit on myself. And then at the pro level, I didn't say it in the bio, I was drafted by the Argos, cut by them in training camp, probably the only #1 draft pick ever to be cut in training camp, moved by the Alouettes, moved over to the Lions, almost cut by them my second year. Every time it was my mom, every single time reminding me there's only one person that can say you're not good enough, Angus, and that's you. You never give up. You just, if this is what you want, you keep going the whole time. 2009, when I shattered my foot, and Wally told me my career was over, my mom said, "What do you say?" I said, "It's not, Mom." Then you keep going. I won the job back in 2010 when he told me I'd never play again. Captained this team. The next year was the All-Canadian center. It was my mom every single time reminding me, if this is where you want to go, you keep going. You can keep doing it. So easily, my mom. Easily. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Good question. Thanks, Nixon.
Everybody's answering that. Honestly,
please.
my mom is too. Yay for moms. My mom was, there's a 3 E's with parents I like to say. The environment. My mom made sure that there was healthy food in the fridge for me. She would wake up I had early morning practices before school. I would have to wake up at 5:30. She would make sure that there was breakfast for me at 5:30. You don't have to do that, right? So she made sure that there was food for me. The environment was good. I was getting sleep, like all that kind of stuff. She enabled me by letting me go through hard things. And she empowered me to use the tools all the time with just like, yeah, you go do that, right? And so, yeah, my mom, for sure.
Yeah, I'll say my parents as well. But the one thing I will add is that the greatest thing that my parents did for me is that they never pushed me once.
Yeah.
It was always me. If I didn't go and get them to go leave for practice, we didn't go. If I wasn't ready to go in the morning or if I wasn't ready to go in the evening, we didn't go. If I didn't bug them to go out and practice, then we didn't practice. They was always had to come from me, and that was one of the greatest things they did for me.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, right beside your coach.
Nathan, is there any reason behind why you chose number 12?
Yeah. It's a really simple one. I grew up a Green Bay Packers fan, and Aaron Rodgers wore 12 at the time. And if you look at throughout NFL history, there's been a lot of great quarterbacks wearing number 12, and that was, and then also it was available. So.
All right, who do we got up here? I saw a hand pop up. No?
Fred is holding up hand.
Okay, yeah, little man right here.
There you go. Turn around.
Do you guys want a pretzel?
Do you guys want a pretzel?
Yeah.
How much?
Lennon?
All right.
Lennon, come
Oh, we got a hand up here. Oh, we got a question here. All right.
No.
Hands everywhere.
I don't need one.
Who is your friend that stayed with you all the way since you started playing football?
A friend?
Yeah, like who stayed with you the entire way?
It's a tough one. You would tell him?
I don't have a friend that was with me the whole time. I have a friend that since high school who's one of my super friends that I spot, Greg and Mark, those guys. Since 15 on, we're in touch all the time still. Like we cheer each other all the time. I don't physically see them much because we live in different parts now of the world, but we text a lot, we say each other a lot when we can. But yeah, life takes you a lot of different places. But there are a couple people that are always there if and when we need them. But nobody that was physically beside me the whole way. It just hasn't worked that way.
Yeah, I would say I have a friend who we like to say we were born friends because our moms were pregnant at the same time. We met very young at church and we're still best friends now. And we did play volleyball together when we were 11 and 12 years old, and then she stopped playing and I kept going. But she is somebody who, good friends, they are there to support you whether you're winning or you're losing, and they can hold you accountable and remind you of who you are when sometimes you forget, and Leanie is definitely that person for me. So yeah, but same thing, we live in different places, and so we talk every once in a while on the phone, and yeah.
My closest friend has always been my younger brother. 2 years apart. We have had very similar careers, very similar experiences. He's got drafted last year by the San Francisco 49ers.
Cool.
And so quarterback. And so a lot of the things that we go through are very similar. And so we're always close growing up, but now we're even closer because he wears TBD because he was not on an active roster last year. But he understands the balance of being a professional, what's on the mental load as a quarterback, the expectations, all that kind of stuff. So he's been someone I've kept in touch with, and obviously his family. So that's great.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Yeah, great answers. We're going to power through. Let's go 2 more kids and then a couple coaches. All right. So, sorry, guys. A lot of hands. We're running out of time.
Hi. Hi. What are your guys' 3 goals for the past 3 years?
3 goals.
3 goals.
From the last 3 years?
Ooh, that's very specific. Yeah.
I'll tell you, my goal currently is to get a ring like Angus has. 1 for each finger.
Offer me a price.
We'll come watch your
3 goals, hey? 3 goals. I can, I coach now. There's one of our young players. He's going to grade 12 next year. He had a horrible knee injury in grade 10. Terrible triad, ACL, PCL, and MCL. Whole thing gone. He was grade 10. He was their leading tackler. He was an incredible football player. Usually your career's probably over. He was 15 years old. He had the massive surgery done. He came over I have a garage gym, and I allow any player that wants to come work out with me at 6 in the morning. And it was like a week after his surgery, his mom dropped him off at 5:59 in the morning. I didn't know he was showing up. He's like, Coach, can I come train in the morning? I'm like, yeah. He comes in those crutches, and he's like, I want to play college football. I'm like, okay, well, remember I talked about, like, I'm a coach, help you get from point A to point B. This is what he wants to do. And the odds are incredible. He's an unbelievable football player, but here he's at 15, has a whole knee rebuilt, right? And so one of my goals is I'm going to get him to college football. He's going to do it. My other 2 goals are with my boys. My oldest boy is Brooks. He's almost on the autism spectrum, almost. So he's basically struggles with everything without being straight there. So he's in normal life, normal go. And this is an ongoing goal with me is to, there's all the things to help him with, but the biggest meta goal for me is to get his confidence level so he's not scared to be out there with peers, so he will interact and be okay being who he is and not shy away because he struggles with his speech and he struggles with his hearing and he struggles with his motor skills, to build that confidence so he's not scared to be himself in this world. That's probably my biggest one. And my last one is to be a good husband and father that I can, because we have a 1-year-old at home too now that decides he doesn't like sleeping at night at all. So there's the other kids to take care of, there's my wife to get sleep, there's myself to get sleep. So to manage all that, how good do I want to be? So my goal is to make sure bring our best to make sure that everything's getting done at home.
Yes. Okay, 3 goals. I had a goal to start a podcast to give a platform for people like Angus and Nathan and pro athletes and coaches and all that to tell their stories and take their experience and pass it on to younger athletes and the up and coming. And that has happened. I've recorded over 100 episodes, so that's pretty cool. It's happened in the last 3 years. I think you said 3 years. Another goal was to write a book, and I'm halfway through writing a book right now, and it is taking everything that I teach to youth athletes, mental performance, and it's putting it into like a homeschool curriculum so that it's accessible. So any of you can just take this book and read it and do the exercise in it and learn all these skills that are going to get you ahead in life. And number 3, I think that's good. Let's go with those 2. Yeah, that's good.
2's close. We'll go with that. Yeah. Great. Where's Coach? There you are. One more up front here.
What is your next achievement?
Next what, sorry?
Achievement.
The next achievement?
Your next achievement. project. What do you want your next achievement to be? Maybe let's phrase it that way. What's your most immediate goal? We're just going to build on that thought.
To win a Grey Cup.
Does it have a shiny? Yeah.
Mine is to get home in time for dinner tomorrow night because I got to fly home, and the air traffic is a little suspect nowadays. So I know I've got to get home for dinner to see my boys tomorrow. That's immediate. That's right now. It's tangible and it's right there. And I don't have all the say in it, but I'm going to do everything I can do to make sure that one we knock that one out of the park, and I'm home for dinner tomorrow.
That is such a good goal. I love it.
Promise them I'm making. I don't like letting my kids down. I don't know how to fly a plane, but we're going to do what we got to do to make sure WestJet knows how to and keeps their end of promises, you know?
Control what you can control. Get there on time.
Expect others to do the same, sorry.
That's right. All right, Coach, what do you got? Yeah.
What do you tell yourself in moments you want to quit?
Good one. Good one.
Great question.
Never quit on a bad day.
I think I intuitively did this before. Why I'm doing this. And that was the big thing with the pictures I'd always hold in the quotes. I'd have quotes everywhere. So you're down, you remind yourself why you get them, and that's why it's important. You're doing it because you want to do it. You remind yourself why you're doing it in the first place.
Yeah, I echo that for sure. Your why is so important. I remember my rookie year with the Lions, being very frustrated about playing time, feeling like I wasn't getting feedback from coaches, just very, very frustrated in a new situation, and being in the weight room late on one day and being the only person in there and looking myself in the mirror and saying, the moment that I would rather be doing anything else is the day that I quit. And I've not felt that yet in my life. So it's been, when I get to that point, I think about, would I rather be doing anything else? Would I rather be working an office job? No shade to anybody but who works an office job. But if I would rather do anything else, then it's time to walk away, because this thing takes all of you. It takes everything. If you're not all in, you're not going to get it where you want to go.
Right.
Can I add something? Coach Dan used to do this with us, and my wife and I say it now all the time, like on moments when we're overwhelmed and exhausted and completely like at our ends of energy with what's going on with the boys and everything. Coach Dan would say this to us. It would be like, sideways torrential rain, we've lost 3 games in a row, and everyone's mad at us, and the media's on us, and we feel down. We're like, this sucks. Okay? And Dan would know it. And we'd come out to practice, and our body language would show it, and it's just horrible rain and all this stuff. And he'd always look us in the eye. And then he'd grin. He'd say, how lucky are we? What we get to do today. And it'd be hard to deny that. And my wife and I, we'd sit and be like, this. And then we'd look at each other going, how lucky are we? And it shifts everything. And so when you're feeling down, you look around at yourself and you're breathing and you're with people and you have opportunity and you go, everything's horrible. Wait a minute. How lucky are we? How lucky are we?
Yeah, just adding off that, I remind myself all the time how about what I get to do is temporary. The sport that we play, at some point you're going to have to stop, and it's going to be taken away from you, maybe sooner rather than you'd like. I know a lot of people, really talented players who had a ton of potential, their careers shortened by injury or, just unlucky, wrong place, wrong time kind of thing. And I think about them, and I think about how lucky I am to continuing to be able to play. And this thing, it has a lifespan. It has a lifespan. And I don't want to be looking back when I'm done playing and saying, man, I took that for granted.
Yeah. Good point, guys. How about a couple coaches? Do we have any coaches?
How many more questions do you want here?
I don't know. How are you guys doing for time? We're on a rhythm. You guys tired? Ready to keep going?
I'm here. I think I got 2 more players that I can see right now, and then a couple adults here that we'll throw it down to.
Let's do the 2 more for, little guys, and then get some coaches.
Nathan, what has your greatest achievement so far been?
My greatest achievement so far? Marrying the love of my life. 3 years in June. if you knew who she was and you understand how lucky I am. And what she puts up with, my goodness. No, seriously though, one of the things that, and you'll be able to attest to this, one of the things that as a professional athlete people don't know is the sacrifice your partner and your families make to be able to do. I don't see my wife nearly enough as I should during the season. I am in the facilities at 6:30 in the morning, and I don't leave a lot of times until 8:30, and it's time to go to bed. So I miss dinners. I've missed weddings and funerals of some of the people that family members. Those people have sacrificed so much so that I can go and do my best, and the emotional capacity for them to be able to handle someone like me and what my job entails is incredible. So I find myself very, very lucky.
Yeah, thank you. Coach Chris, where are you at? All right. What do you got there? Go back. We can't hear you, sorry.
Sorry, mic turned off.
There you go. Sound live.
Stand up and talk.
Check.
There you go.
If you could go back to any point in your career and change something, what would it be?
Yeah. I would honestly beat myself up less over things that didn't really matter, and like I said before, I would enjoy more of it. Again, I have perspective now, but you're asking me if I could go back. I would enjoy more of it and waste less time worrying and less time beating myself up.
I think that I would be more aware of who I hung out with. Because as young people, I remember my mom saying, you become like who you hang out with. And I was like, okay. But it's true. And so when you're young, and if you have these big dreams and these big goals and you want to pursue things that are different than everybody, then that means that if you surround yourself with people who are doing ordinary things or maybe doing things that aren't so great, you're probably going to fall into those patterns too, right? And so being aware of who you hang out with and hanging out with people who support those dreams and are maybe running after some pretty cool dreams of their own, that's a really important piece that ties into sports and life that I would do differently, I think.
I would say that there's not much that I would change. Everything that I've done, I feel like has contributed to the person that I am today, both the highs and the lows. And whether the experiences were painful or if they were exhilarating, they allowed me to learn and to grow. And I am very fortunate to have experienced much, and believe that there's something that you can take from every single experience. So.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. That was good. Coach Chris?
Just curious, how important are scheduled routines for high-level athletes like yourselves?
They're absolutely everything. That's the way my mind works as well. Like, I'm very type A, but I actually function incredibly poorly without any type of routine. There is a time when the season ends in December where I try to take a break and be, just kind of be. And I don't really like that version of myself very much. I need to be able to have something where I can cling to. I need a morning routine. I need to be able to have a nightly routine for my sleep. I need to have a routine of film I watch throughout the week and how I watch it. I need to be able to check those boxes through my weight room stuff in the weight room, the extra work, the conditioning, that all the stuff that's planned out. And by the end of the week, I can look back and say, this is what I did, this is what I accomplished. If I don't do that, then things fall through the cracks. So it's incredibly important, not only for my performance, but for my mental health.
Yeah, routines is actually something that we work with athletes on very specifically too, because they help us switch from a practice mindset where we're being kind of, for what do we need to work on? What are we not doing well? And we're focusing on these things that are difficult and hard on ourselves a little bit. And then, but when we go into a game, we don't want to be thinking about the things we need to improve on. We need to be focusing on the things that we're a beast at and that we trust the process. But switching that on and off like a light switch isn't really a thing. And so there needs to be a routine that helps us go from one mindset to the other and then back again. And even before you go into competition, there is pre-performance routines that start like half an hour before a competition, which is, involves stretching. What kind of music are you listening to? Are you hydrating? Like, all of these pieces become a part of a routine, and that helps your body and your mind go, I can trust this, and it grounds you to be able to go forward.
Good question. Thanks, Coach. You got another one up
Want
there?
my answer?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Or you might not want it.
I want it.
Let's go. I do.
It might not be what you want to hear. So I'm an incredibly disciplined person, and that can be a downfall if I over specify a routine. This is me. So I always gave myself, I knew what needed to be done, but I gave myself leeway to handle reality, so I wasn't stuck having to do this or I freak out. So I didn't like rituals that required this to this per game, because what if I couldn't do it that game? And I found people became prisoners to these things. This is me. But I never failed to do what was needed to be done. And even with workouts, I would struggle when it was 3 times 8 at 82%, but what if I failed that one? Then the workout's a failure. And so if I'm feeling it today, we're going to do more. And I'm not going to dial back it, but you have to be incredibly in touch with yourself to know you need to do things, but be able to dial it up and dial it down in that moment, because today we have more. So bring it, but today you don't. So you dial it back a bit instead of, this is what you're doing no matter what. Coach Dan would always laugh at me because I never warmed up. And because he told me years ago, you ever see a cheetah stretch? I'm like, no, they just pounce because they're always ready. So the goal I always had, now this is hard to know at a young age, was to always be ready. And that takes a lot of ongoing work, right? Cheetahs pounce because they stretch throughout the day all the time, so they're always limber, ready to go. So you never know when you have your chance, but it's like, well, wait, I got to do my 20-minute functional warm-up. Sorry, someone else can go play now. So that was me. I was always preparing, but I didn't have structured routines within it because I knew life was never going to allow me to be perfect with this. So I gave myself that freedom and flexibility. Yeah, I was a minimalist with needs because I didn't want to be trapped by needing that, or I couldn't perform. Then I'm kind of hooped. So, but I got everything. I know what needed to get done, and I got it done. So that's my answer.
Did I miss anyone? No. Check. All right. Sorry, Angus. Yes, Chris. Were you?
Question for Nathan. Your NFL career didn't go the way that you had hoped. What does it mean to you to have changed the perception of what a Canadian quarterback can do in the States and create opportunities for someone like Curtis to have better opportunities in the league?
Well, yeah, I mean, first of all, that's kind to say, but the simple answer is I have a hard time sometimes thinking about that type of stuff because I really just want to do the best that I can. But I do think that when it's all said and done and I'm hanging it up, that the legacy that I leave is going to be something that's important for me. I know growing up, there wasn't necessarily a Canadian quarterback to look to who was on the same path that I was on. And if I can be at least to be able to say that you can do it and do that type of thing, I think that's certainly pretty cool and a privilege. I think I think Curtis is going to have an unbelievable opportunity to go much further than I ever did down there. But I also think that it's a remarkable privilege to be able to continue to play in Canada as a Canadian, and so that's my focus right now, and hopefully. You know, one of the unique things about the CFL is you get to do stuff like this, right? So I think that the impact off the field is greater up here anyways, and so I understand that's an honor and a privilege, and don't take it lightly for sure.
Great question. Okay, last one we got going on, Coach Dave.
Yeah, first of all, on behalf of our community and the Giants and everyone involved, I just want to thank all three of you for coming and investing in our community, our youth, the parents represented here. It's very much appreciated you spending your time empowering us. My question, I guess the last question, goes to Muriel specifically. What led and inspired you to transition from athletics to leadership, and what's your vision for Forged Youth?
I love it. Honestly, I transitioned out of being an athlete due to things outside of my control. Life happens, and I got attacked. It led to years of chronic pain and like all of these things where I actually had my identity as an athlete stolen from me, and I didn't really know who I was anymore. It was pretty crazy. But I knew that I wanted to give back, and all the struggles that I had been through were for a reason. And then kind of as I got older and started reflecting with new tools, and I got my counseling degree and like all these things, I started to have these aha moments to all the different tools that I learned when I was young in sports that really changed my life and empowered me to be stronger than maybe other people who had been in a similar situation. And that is what turned me into really wanting to work with youth athletes and to be able to get this information out there. And then also, like I said, with the podcast, give pro athletes globally an opportunity to do the same thing, tell people their stories, their struggles, their tools, how they got there, what worked, what didn't, all of those things. And so my goal with Forged Youth is to really make these mental training, mental fitness skills accessible to youth, because they're skills that everybody should have. Honestly, like emotional regulation, understanding how our minds and our bodies are related, self-talk, and how that changes how we think about ourselves and who we become. Like all these skills are so important to developing strong humans, right? And so I just want to make that accessible for kids, but also I want to make it accessible for parents and adults too, because a lot of us, we struggle with those things. I still struggle with them, and I have a lot of the skills, right? And so being able to create platforms where parents and athletes can come and learn these, that's what I want to do with it. So that's why the podcast, so it's free information to everybody. It's a free school group, get it out there, writing a book, like all of those pieces. That's the goal, to build resilient and anti-fragile leaders for tomorrow. Because all these guys, like all of you young people in this room, you're what's coming next. So let's make you strong.
Good question. Thanks, guys. Well, everybody, I think that about wraps it up for the evening. However, we do have some books for the little athletes and all the youth here. So you want to come up this side here. Wait, guys. Pump the brakes. First one up does not get a book. This is what we're going to do, guys. Feel free, come on up. We're going to hand you a book. If parents would like to take photos up on the stage with any one of the athletes, come on and do it. We'll have some autographs. They've been gracious enough to stick a little bit longer and sign some autographs. But again, thank you for everybody to coming out tonight. This has been a great success, and thank you to the three of you wonderful speakers. Appreciate it. Thank you.
One last thing here. Dave Poole also already thanked everybody for coming out tonight, which I really appreciate. But can everybody give Bill a huge round of applause? Because nothing that happened tonight would have happened without him. He put all of this together. He put a lot of energy into this. It's very appreciated. Thanks, Bill.